Right. No. We'll start 5. Shall we go? Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin amma ba'd. We will be studying the fiqh, the rules and regulations, some of the rules that are pertain to the fasting in general, whether it is obligatory fasting, whether it is nawafil fasting. We will be discussing inshallah ta'ala in detail some of the rules and regulations from the book Zad al-Mustaqni' by Imam al-Hajjawi rahimahullah. And this particular book is written by Imam al-Hajjawi. He is Alimun Jalil, and this book is based on Madhab al-Hanbali, Madhab al-Hanabila. But what we will be doing here is, we will be bringing the masail and we will be discussing which mas'ala is more closer to the Quran and Sunnah, not following exactly the Hanbali madhab, but rather we follow what is close to the Quran and Sunnah, inshallah ta'ala. We all know that in few days we are going to witness, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, we are going to witness the Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the entire Ramadan where we can seek the blessings from the fasting, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Kutiba, the word kutiba here means, if anywhere in the Quran comes kutiba, umira, qudiya, that means obligatory. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablik. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the fasting obligatory upon you the way it was made obligatory for the previous generations. And what is the reason why the fasting has been made obligatory upon the Muslim Ummah? The reason is to seek taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you'll become righteous, pious. So this is the reason, هَذَا هُوَ الْإِلَّةِ, this is the reason of fasting. What is the reason of fasting? So that you'll become pious. Fasting is a thing, what is the meaning of it? Siyam, that means, for example, if you go to the Arab lands, the horse will not be fed, and they will make the horse to run when it is hungry. So it gets used to it. Fasting is also a similar thing. For the entire month you do not eat anything and you prepare yourself for the rest of the months. And fasting here means not only fasting of your stomach, fasting of your eyes, fasting of your ears, fasting of your hands, fasting of your legs. In the sense, the hand will not go to impermissible places. The eyes will not go to and look at those things which are impermissible. The legs will not go to a place which is impermissible, isn't it? So fasting from the stomach, where you understand the effect of fasting, this is something which is very important. Ulama, they say that the one who can control the desire of eating can control the desires. The one who can control the tongue can control the desires. This is something which we know that. So fasting is a thing that which controls your desire, and this is made obligatory by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why Ramadan? Why Ramadan? What is the meaning of Ramadan? Ramadan, yarmudu. Ramadan means heat, which means heat. So here it is burning. So what is burning here? When you are fasting in the month of Ramadan, because of fasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to burn or wipe away your sins. Wiping away your sins. And fasting is not easy. Fasting is not easy. In the religion of Islam, there are many kinds of ibadat. There are two kinds of ibadat. Ibadatul maliyya wa ibadatul badaniyya. When we say ibadatul maliyah, zakat is ibadatul maliyah. What is ibadatul maliyah? Worship with giving the money. Ibadatul badaniyah, salah, hajj. Salah is ibadatul badaniyah. You don't have to give money to perform, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to hajj, وَهُوَ مَعْلِيَّ وَبَدَنِيَّ, it is both wealth as well as body. It requires body to be there present. You have to do by actions, isn't it? When it comes to fasting, it's ibadatul badaniyah. Ibadah with body. You don't need money to eat. You need money to worship or fast for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ramadan, why we fast in the month of Ramadan is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in this month. As Allah says in the Quran, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. On this month, in this month, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran so that to make it clear for the people, the distinguish between haqq and batil. The Quran is a furqan which distinguishes between the haqq and batil. Is it clear? So it is revealed for the entire mankind, not only for the Muslims. And all the scriptures previously was revealed in the month of Ramadan. This is the month of Ramadan, all the scriptures were given. Okay? But this month was made obligatory upon us in the second year of Hijrah. In the second year of Hijrah, هذا من إجماع العلماء. Second year of Hijrah, the fasting is made obligatory upon us. When you are fasting, we can understand the hunger. We can understand, you are staying away from those haram. You are staying away from haram acts, and while fasting, you are staying even away from the halal acts, isn't it? So when you can stay away from halal acts while fasting, then what about haram? It will become much more easier for you when you are not fasting. So that is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that you can seek righteousness by fasting. Right. We will not discuss much about the fada'il and virtues because we have a lot of masail to discuss about the fasting, and inshallah ta'ala we have started late, and hopefully inshallah we'll try to finish this the bab from Zad al-Mustaqni. Those who do not have the book, probably you can go to a mobile phone, you can download the book, or you can download only this bab, okay, only it's Kitab al-Siyam min Zad al-Mustaqni. Inshallah you can follow the ibarat which is mentioned by Imam al-Hajjawi rahimahullah. So when I'm reading those things, inshallah you will be able to understand what exactly it's talking about. Is it clear? So we will go directly to the Kitab al-Siyam. Kitab al-Siyam. Kitab al-Siyamu yajibu sawm Ramadan. Yajibu sawm Ramadan. It is mentioned by Imam al-Hajjawi rahimahullah. He started with Kitab al-Siyam. Yajibu sawm Ramadan bi ru'yati hilal. When does the fasting becomes obligatory upon us? When does the fasting becomes obligatory? We know that fasting itself is obligatory. By when does Ramadan starts? By sighting of the moon. Bi ru'yati hilal. By sighting of the moon. There are two ways where the Ramadan starts. If the moon is not seen, the second way is you complete the 30 days of Shaban. Two ways. Number one, what is that? Number one, by looking at the moon. Number two, by, if you do not see the moon, number two, 30 days of Shaban, you will finish it. And you will not wait. Once 30 days of Shaban is done, the next day starts Ramadan first and you start fasting. There are some issues right now, especially in India, especially in some of the countries. When we say Ru'yati Hilal, where the moon has been sighted, this is a big issue. For example, we've been seeing this issue from the beginning. In fact, when I accepted Islam, I had been to Kerala, okay, to visit my relatives. When I went there, there was this Eid performed one day, and I traveled back to my where I was staying, the Andhra. When I went there, the next day I performed Eid. I was like, why there's Eid 2 days, one day here and one day there? Back then I was non-Muslim. I was thinking about this. When I accepted Islam, then I understood the issues of moon sighting. Where the moon is being sighted in certain places in India, they start fasting. In certain places of India, the moon is not sighted. They do not fast. And what is exactly this particular thing has to be? What are we supposed to do in this particular issue? This issue I discussed with the muftis in the Haran. When I was studying there, when I was working in the Idar al-Hayya. in the Masjid al-Haram, I discussed, Shaykh, there is an issue in India where the moon is sighted in certain places and they do not fast. For example, we live in Bangalore. Mangalore has sighted the moon, for example. Batkal has sighted the moon, for example. Kerala has sighted the moon, example. From Bangalore, these places are very close, isn't it? But yet we abstain from fasting. Wallahu a'lam. Why do we do this? When I told this, the Mufti, they said, this is fitna. Why don't we form a committee in India where wherever the moon is being sighted in the province, you start fasting? This is an issue which should be very much clear. But what are we doing? What are we doing? The place which 120 kilometers or 300 or 400 kilometers away from your place, they see the moon, but yet do not fast. Wallahi, this is fitna. This is fitna. So you, as Muslims, we have to get in touch with the scholars and ask them to form a committee and make a resolution that wherever you see the moon, you start fasting, inshallah. With this, what happens? The ikhtilaf will be removed. Best way of removing ikhtilaf. We try our best, isn't it? The first condition is ru'yatu hilalin, looking at the moon. Now, sometimes what happens? Okay, we'll go to the ibara. فَإِن لَمْ يُرَعْ مَا سَحْوِ لَيْلَةِ ثَلَاثِينَ أَصْبَحْهُ مُفْتَرِينَ وَإِنْ حَالَ دَوْنَهُ غَيْمٌ أَوْ قَطَرٌ فَظَاهِرُ الْمَذْهَبِ يَجِبُ. So here what happens on the 29th day of Sha'ban, 29th day of Sha'ban, we know that we go and see the moon. We will go and see the moon when? After Maghrib, before Maghrib. It is before Maghrib, just before the Maghrib. There is a time where you can sight the moon. That particular time, if you do not sight the moon, then next day you will not fast and you will finish 30 days of Sha'ban, then you fast for the Ramadan first day, isn't it? Now, sometimes what happens is, you have calculated and you know that moon will be sighted, and here it is mentioned in this madhab, Al-Hanabila, it is mentioned that, what is that? If there are clouds, ghaymun, if there are clouds, or if there is qatarun is cloudy, it's not a cloud, it's a sandstorm wind, which is covering the, if you go to Middle East, you can see that, which will cover the horizon, okay? So if you do not see the moon because of these reasons, madhab Hanabila says, ihtiyatan, you start fasting. Ihtiyatan. To be in a safer side, you start fasting. Imam Ahmad says it is something mustahab. Ibn Taymiyyah said it is something mustahab. But ihtiyatan, you start fasting, it is yajib, wajib, according to madhab Hanabila. So when we say madhab Hanabila, Hanbali madhab says one thing, Imam Ahmad says one thing. That is what it is. There is something called madhabu mutlakan wa shakhsiyan. Because the madhab says one thing. Okay? For example, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says on certain masail, he gives a ruling. Okay? He gives a ruling. But the students differ from the ruling. And the madhab as a whole differ from the ruling. So what do we say? This madhab says it. When we say madhab says it, not necessarily that Imam Ahmad said that. So here Imam Ahmad, what is the opinion of Imam Ahmad? Imam Ahmad is of the opinion that it is not obligatory to fast because of the clouds or the turab. It's clear. Because you haven't seen the moon. But the madhab says it is wajib. Ibn Taymiyyah is of the same opinion that it is not wajib. It is not wajib. So these are the two things that you have to keep in the mind, inshallah ta'ala. وإن رؤي نهارا فهو ليلة المقبلة وإذا رآه أهل بلد لزم الناس كلهم صوم. Allah Akbar. So whenever one person in the city has seen the moon, then if he is adala, he is a trustworthy person, is a Muslim, and he goes and tells the Qadi, the leader, Amir, and if he says that I have seen the moon, then it is obligatory upon everyone to fast. Now there is a question here. Some of the ulama, there are about 7 to 8 masail discussed by the ulama here. One of the opinions is that if the moon is sighted anywhere in the world, you have to fast. That's why the people, they say we'll go for Saudi fasting, isn't it? One of the opinions it is. But what is sahih? Is that if the moon is sighted in your land, then you start fasting. So it becomes obligatory. That's what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. Sumu li ru'yatihi waftaru li ru'yatihi. Start fasting by looking at what? Looking at the moon, and break fast by looking at the moon. So how are we going to fast? By looking at the moon. Breaking of the fast means what? I'm talking about the Eid. I'm talking about the Eid, not breaking the fast in the evening, iftar. There is no moon, nothing to do with the evening when it comes to the moon. We're talking about the end of Ramadan. We're talking about the end of Ramadan. Is it clear what I'm saying? So this is the mas'ala, that if one person sees, or even one woman sees, okay, woman or a man, they see the moon. If they come and say that I have seen the moon, in that case you have to start fasting or break fasting. This happened with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day they were fasting. One man came and said, Ya Rasulullah, I have seen the moon. Then Rasulullah told Bilal to announce, and they broke the fast. So this is a dalil to say that one person, whether a man or a woman, if they tell you that they have seen the moon, in that case you start the fasting or you can break the fasting. This has happened with many places, that once some people have seen the moon, they went and told the Amir of that particular city or town, but they didn't accept it. Despite of saying that they've seen the moon. Allah musta'an. This is fitna, isn't it? So if any Muslim comes to you and says we have seen the moon, start fasting or break fasting. This is a dalil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not mention that it has to be, he didn't mention that it depends on person to person. He said whoever sees the moon, khalas, fasting will be started inshallah ta'ala. Now, وَيُصَامُ بِرُؤْيَةِ عَدْلٍ. What is the meaning of رُؤْيَةِ عَدْلٍ? وَيُصَامُ بِرُؤْيَةِ عَدْلٍ وَلَوْ أُنْثَى. As I told you, even if it is seen by one man or one woman, the fasting will be considered inshallah ta'ala. بِشَهَادَةِ وَاحِدٍ 30 يَوْمًا فَلَمْ يُرَى هِلَالٍ بِشَهَادَةِ أَوْ صَامُوا لِأَجْلِ غَيْمٍ لَمْ يَفْطَرُوا. طيب. So here, when there is no witness at all, they have not seen the moon at all, in that case what are you supposed to do? You complete 30 days, and there is no ikhtilaf in this matter. There is no ikhtilaf in this matter. You complete 30 days. Okay? Once you complete 30 days, next day will be fasting inshallah ta'ala. Next day will be fasting. Now, وَمَنْ رَأَى وَحْدَهُ هِلَالَ رَمَضَانِ وَرُدُّهُ وَقَوْلُهُ أَوْ رَأَى هِلَالَ شَوَّالِ الصَّامَ. That means, the moment they see the hilal, they start fasting, and everybody starts fasting. Now we discussed about the first condition. What is the first condition in order to start fasting? What is that? Sighting the moon or completion of 30 days of Shaban. Is it clear? Now we will go to the issue upon whom the fasting is obligatory. Now we are going into the topic. The more we go into the topic, inshallah, the more it will be interesting. Okay? Now we are going to discuss about upon whom the fasting is obligatory. Fasting is obligatory upon وَيَلْزَمُ الصَّوْمُ لِكُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ مُكَلِّفٍ قَادِرٍ. Some of the conditions of fasting is that the person has to be a Muslim. Has to be a Muslim. Inna ad-deena inda Allahi al-Islam. The only religion accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. Okay? And Allah says, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And whoever follows anything, anyone, any ways beside the religion of Islam, that will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will be loser in this dunya and akhirah. So a non-Muslim shahada and non-Muslim's fasting will not be accepted. In fact, this is one of the conditions of any deed to be accepted in the religion of Islam. One of the conditions is that he has to be from Ahlul Iman. He has to be from Ahlul Iman. When we say Ahlul Iman, yukhraju minhum Ahlul Kitab, not Ahlul Kitab. Kuffar, Murtaddin, Munafiqeen are excluded from this. They are from the Ahlul Iman, the one who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who follows Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For any deed to be accepted, that person has to be a Muslim. If, for example, if somebody, you find sometimes in YouTube, then some of the non-Muslims, they say that I'm fasting in the Ramadan. Do you think they will be rewarded? No, they will not be rewarded. They will not be rewarded. Neither if they're fasting, we will not say that you are a non-Muslim, you don't fast. Let them fast. Maybe they find something in that they might accept Islam in the future. So you're not going to be mutashaddidina alayhim, that you completely being, hard against them. Right? So just leave them on their way. But what is accepted in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that Iman is the first thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ لَتَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Hey Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if you have to associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ, Allah is going to destroy what? All your good deeds. So one of the first conditions of any amal to be accepted is Islam. For example, even if you have to say Alhamdulillah, even if you have to say Subhanallah, even if you have to say Allahu Akbar, it won't be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except that you are a believer. If you are a mushrik, murtad, a munafiq, min ahli al-kitab, wathaniyun, it will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second condition upon whom the fasting is obligatory is baligh. Upon whom? Baligh, bulugh. What is bulugh? What is bulugh? Bulugh means to reach. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created human beings in different stages. We were nutfa, then became mudgha, then became human being, then we came out, we are infant, then we became certain age mumayyiz, then you became a youth, then you became what? Sheikh, not the Sheikh. Sheikh I'm talking about with white beard and old that Sheikh I'm talking about. Shayba, isn't it? So Allah has created different stages among the human beings. Different stages. And this is from the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once upon a time you didn't have hair, you didn't have beard, now you have beard. Okay? You didn't have ejaculation, now you have ejaculation. You didn't have menstruation, now you have menstruation. These are the things that Allah has created to know what is right and what is not right. There are certain ages. So you can't fast. Fasting is not obligatory upon a person who has not reached the age of puberty. And there are certain signs of puberty. For a man it is ihtilam. For a woman it is haid, menstruation. The moment they get this, they have to start fasting. There are few things that we have to understand here when it comes to balagha, when it comes to bulugh, when it comes to that few things that you have to keep in the mind. There are some people who will not get puberty at the age of, even at the age of 17 or 18. In that case, do they not fast? They have to fast. The moment they reach 15 years old. Ijma' al-ulama, they say that if a child does not get puberty at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and not even 16, 17, 18, 19, the moment they reach 15 years old, fasting, salah, zakat, if they're eligible, hajj, everything becomes obligatory upon them. Okay? Sometimes puberty differs, person to person, age to age, continent to continent, culture to culture, and because of different foods, all this affects the puberty of one's person, one's health, one's puberty. Is it clear? When it comes to male or woman. So what is the condition here is that the moment the girl or a boy reaches the age of puberty, fasting will become obligatory. Now the issue here is that now month of Ramadan is going on and puberty will not tell him come, I'm coming now. Okay, puberty will come at any time. So in the month of Ramadan, somebody gets menstruation, somebody gets ihtilam. Okay, for a boy it is not only ihtilam, the imbatu sha'r, that is the pubic hair, the growing of pubic hair is a sign of bulugh. So if they get this in the month of Ramadan, the moment they get this, the fasting will become obligatory upon them. And if she got menstruation in the day of the fasting, so that day is a qada for her later. She has to compensate that particular fasting. For example, we have this issue we discussed in Salah as well, in the Kitab al-Salah. For example, a woman who gets menstruation during time of Dhuhr. Dhuhr time started. She got menstruation, she didn't pray. So upon her is qada later. Similarly, when you get menstruation during the fasting is going on, okay, and she gets menstruation, now she become Ahlul Wujub. She's from the people of obligatory. It becomes obligatory upon her. So that day she has to compensate with the coming later on after the completion of Ramadan. Is it clear now? So second condition is balagha. And when we say bulugh, there are two. You can make it two brackets here. One is aqil wa ghayra aqil. One is aqil wa ghayra aqil. What is aqil wa ghayra aqil? What is that? Aqil is sane person. Ghayra aqil is insane person. So here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that al-majnun hatta tafiq. Al-majnun hatta tafiq. A majnun who is insane, there is nothing upon that person. Nothing is obligatory upon that person. No salah is obligatory. No siyam is obligatory. Even that person has to go and kill somebody, it is not obligatory. It doesn't mean that kill somebody and you behave like a majnun. Okay, it's not possible, right? Majnun here means a person by himself is majnun. Is clear? Is majnun, insane person. So salah is not obligatory. Siyam is not obligatory. What is obligatory? Aqil, the sane person. Aqil, sane person. Is it clear? Now when we discuss about bulugh, we came to know that it is not obligatory upon the one who did not reach the age of puberty. What about the one who is under the age of puberty? Can he fast or not? Of course. What about the ajr? You will be rewarded or not? Of course. But you can ask him, if you want to fast, you fast. If you don't want to fast, you don't have to fast. But you will be getting the reward, inshallah ta'ala. But it is not obligatory upon them. Once the puberty comes, it is obligatory. And upon whom among the puberty? Aqil wa ghayra aqil. Aqil is the one who is sane. Ghayra aqil is who is insane. Insane person will not be what? Fasting. Now in this issue, there are few other things. There are some people who will become majnun for a temporary time. There are some people who becomes majnun for a temporary time. There are some people who will go to unconsciousness for a temporary time. So what about that person? What are you supposed to do? So for example, something triggered his mind. He became insane for some time. And he is in the state of fasting. Fasting, if the entire day goes with that, should he do qada or not when he becomes sane? The ulama, they say, the qawl al-rajih, he don't have to compensate the fasting. But he is igma is unconsciousness, where he become unconscious for a day, and sometimes we know that coma and all these things people become unconscious. Sometimes it will be an hour, sometimes it will be a day, sometimes it will be 2 days, sometimes it will become 3 days. Yes or no? What about that? So in that case, they have to compensate once they are fine, inshallah ta'ala. That inshallah we discuss in the other chapter in detail. Fine. Islam, Baligh, and third one, Aql, insane person. And fourth one is Al-Qudratu Ali. He should be able to fast. Under this, who falls under this category? Yeah, the one who is not able to, or the sick person, and the musafir. What about musafir? Can he fast or not? في زمن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, during time of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, some of the Sahaba, they used to fast while traveling. Some of the Sahaba, they never used to fast while traveling. The one who was fasting, they never looked down upon the one who did not fast, and the one who did not fast, did not force, they do not ask why you are fasting on these days. So it is easy issue. If you want to fast, you fast. If you don't want to fast, you don't have to fast. But it is not obligatory upon these categories which are there, musafir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِن كُنْتُم مَرْضَى أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. And if you are, إِن كُنْتُم مَرْضَى, if you are sick, أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ, and you're traveling, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, upon you is to compensate the other days. So here some people will come and argue with you. They're saying that nowadays safar is easy. Olden days safar is difficult. Olden days you have to walk, you have to use donkey, you have to use camel, or you have to use horse. There is no AC, there is no water, there is very little provisions where you get. Nowadays traveling is easy. You will go everywhere. You have hotels, you have water, you have Swiggy. You can do even Swiggy while traveling. Where you stand, they will come and deliver to you, isn't it? There are many options. You can carry a lot of things. You are traveling in AC compartment, you have AC bus, you have AC flights, but yet if you do not want to fast, you don't have to fast. Here the fasting is not because there is mashakka here. The fasting, that's not the illah of for a person who is exempted from the fasting. Musafir, safar is the illah here. Safar is the illah. Illah means what? The reason. Illah means the reason. As long as you musafir, you can break the fast, and you will be doing this compensating faster later. So the marid and Who? The traveler. When we say marid, marid is also two types. Marid is also two types. One who is a temporary marid. Another one is a permanent marid. Temporary and permanent. Temporary where you become sick. Upon you, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, where you have to compensate the fast later. There is a person who is permanently sick. He can't fast in the month of Ramadan. In that case, this person has to give فَفِدْيَةٌ. They have to give fidya. Fidya, what is it, inshallah ta'ala? In the coming chapters, we'll be discussing in detail how much and what has to be given, inshallah ta'ala. So, وَقَادِرٌ غَيْرَ مُسَافِرٌ وَغَيْرَ مَرِيضٌ وَمُقِيمٌ. He has to be present in the land, inshallah ta'ala. وَإِذَا قامت البينة في إثناء النهار وجب الإمساك والقضاء على كل من، يعني الناس مفترون ثم جاء رجل شهد هلال الليل البارحة فعليه قضاء فيمسك بقي اليوم عند أكثر العلماء. طيب, for example, if the moon is being sighted and it is being told that is moon is being sighted, the moment if somebody comes and tells the moon is being sighted, in that case what are you supposed to do? End of the fasting. As I told you sometime before, the man came to Rasul saying, Ya Rasulullah, I've seen the moon. Then they broke the fast. They broke the fast. Is it clear now? Now. كل من صار في إثنائه أهل الوجوبه وكذا حائد ونفساء طهرة. Yani, a woman who gets the menstruation during the fasting, a woman who delivered the child while fasting, what are they supposed to do? They have to, what are they supposed to do? They have to compensate. There is a misconception among the people. There is a misconception. Many people ask us saying that, Shaykh, I was not able to fast because I was sick, and my wife delivered the child. She was in state of postnatal bleeding. Can we just give fidya? Can we just give fidya? No, you can't give fidya here. You have to compensate by fasting. There are some people, for example, there's a woman who constantly become pregnant. 1 year and next year again she became pregnant. 3rd, 4th year again she became pregnant, and she has to feed the child. She's continuously she is becoming pregnant and she has to feed the child. Okay, in that case the ulama, they say this particular category, there is one exception where she can give the fidya, but not the woman who has a long gap between the first child, second child, third child. Not them. They have to compensate the fasting. So this particular rule, there is an exception here. Keep in mind, inshallah ta'ala. وَمَنْ أَفْتَرَ مَنْ يُبَاهُ لَهُمُ الْفِطْرِ. Now we are going to discuss about upon whom the fasting is it is allowed to break the fasting. لِكَبِرٍ أَوْ مَرْضٍ أَوْ يُرْجِي بِرُؤْيٍ أَوْ يُرْجِي لِكَبُرٍ, yani for the person who has reached the age where he is not able to fast, because of the age, أو مَرْضٍ, the one who is sick. أَيُرْجِي بِرُؤُهُ أَطْعَمَ لِكُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. So there is what is compensation of those people who has permanent sickness, and the one who reached the age of kabura bisin, the one who reached the the old age. For them there is no compensation. They have to feed the miskin. How are you going to feed the miskin here? You can either feed on daily basis, or you can collectively feed 30 days at once. So when we say feeding here, what are you supposed to feed? Number 1, a cooked food. Whatever you eat, one-time meal, same thing, you can pack it up. Or you go to a hotel, take one biryani or whatever it is. pack it and give it to the miskin, masakin. Is it clear? Or if you don't want to give the cooked food, you can give a raw material. What is a raw material? Rice or wheat or barley or whatever it is. Nisf sa'. It should be half sa'. Now we have one thing here, mud. Many people doesn't know what is mud. Okay, 4 mud makes 1 sa'. 4 mud makes 1 sa'. So one mud is around 600 to 650 ml, takriban. Okay, and 1 sa' makes 4 mud makes 1 sa'. So when we are giving zakatul fitr, we have to give 1 sa' of rice, 1 sa' of tamr, that is dates, 1 sa' of wheat, 1 sa' of barley or whatever it is, whatever the staple food is. Okay, so here the mud, here the 1 sa' means in this sa' means 2 mud, which means 2 mud. So that's around, the ulama they say 1.5 kilos of rice. How much? 1.5 kilos of rice. And when it comes to wheat, 750 grams. When it comes to rice, 1.5 kilos. So you take on one fasting, you take 1.5 kilos and you can give it to the masakin. Or cooked food. In that way you have fulfilled giving fidya. Is it clear now? No. But when it comes to zakatul fitr, it's not nisf sa', rather it will be full sa'. And I myself measured in the sa'. When I measured the sa', when I measured the rice, it was approximately around 3 kilos. Take 20 or 30 grams here and there. It's approximately 3 kilos. Nowadays, what happens in the masajid, what they say is, give 25 rupees, give 50 rupees. This is not sahih. This is not sahih. Because Rasulullah told, ikhraju zakatul fitr min ta'amikum, from your food, the food that you eat. Is it clear? So it's 1 sa', if you measure, this is the volume that you get. And if you measure the wheat, it's around 2.5 kilos. It's around 2.5, 2.3, 2.4 kilos, around that. Doesn't matter if it's little more, doesn't matter, inshallah. So we have to follow the sunnah as much as possible. But what are we doing is that nowadays, many masajid they say that you just give 50 rupees, that is enough. That person, he will be eating basmati rice at home, which is 100 rupees or 120 rupees. There are some people in Bangalore, they eat bullet rice, which is 70 or 80 rupees. If you go to Kerala, if you go to Mangalore, they eat some rice which are thick, different price. The price also different. Where are you making the price equal for everyone? Then people are eating different. If you go to Rajasthan, if you go to some of the North Indian countries, they don't even rice at all. They don't even eat rice. They only depend upon the wheat. So we have to take the zakat al-fitr from the wheat. Similarly, when you want to give fidya, you can't go and give money. You have to give the ta'am. Giving money is not permissible. Even zakat al-fitr, Jumhur al-ulama is of the opinion that you can't give what? You can't give nafaqah. You can't give money. Rather, it has to be the ta'am. Some of the ulama they say where you can give nafaqah under some exceptions. But what is sahih is that you have to give the ta'am. Those people who say the exception, they say that there are many poor people. What they will do with the money, what they will do with the food. Okay, during time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, weren't Sahaba radiyallahu anhu poor? If that is the case, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have ordered to give money for them, but he never told to give money. Rather, they gave food, isn't it? So ta'am is a thing which is legislated. This is the opinion of Jumhur al-ulama. So miskin fidya has to be 1.5 kilos of rice, okay, or 750 to 800 kilograms of wheat, or one-time meal to one person. That makes up to 30 days where you're not fasting. Is it clear? This is for those who cannot fast and those marid who are permanently sick. Clear? Now. وَمَنْ أَفْتَرَ طيب وَيُسَنُّ لِمَرِيدٍ يَضُرُّهُ وَيُسَنُّ لِمَرِيدٍ وَلِمُسَافِرٍ يَقْصُرُ. And for example, what about a musafir? وَلِمُسَافِرٍ يَقْصُرُ وَإِنَّ وَحَاضٍ صَوْمَ يَوْمَ ثُمَّ سَافَرَ بِإِثْنَائِهِ فَلَهُ فِطْرٌ. Now, you are a mukim. You are here, Mangalore, okay? Now, after, what is time now? It's it's 10 o'clock. You're traveling at 12 o'clock. You're traveling, you're a musafir now. And you're fasting. Until now you're fasting. Can you break the fast? Masala is something, right? What do? Will you break the fast or will you continue fasting? You have an option. You have an option. But what is sahih is, you can break the fast and you will be sinless. You can break the fast. هذا هو قول الراجح. This is the authentic opinion. For example, you are a muqim and you started traveling. The fasting you can break. Fasting you can break. Some of the ulama, they say no, you can't break. Since because in the beginning of the day you are muqim and later you became musafir. So what is dependent upon the niyyah in the beginning? So you can't break the fast. But we have a illah here. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مَرْضَى أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. Safar can happen at any time. Similarly, while performing salah, you offered fajr completely 2 rakah. Okay, you offered dhuhr completely 4 rakah. Now you're traveling when? During asr time. And while asr, what will you do? Will you pray 4 rakah or will you pray 2 rakah? You'll pray 2 rakah. This is not dependent on the amal or the niyyah in the beginning. What depends is haliyan, in the presently, what is happening. Is it clear? This is what the fiqh is. So when you are a muqim, then you start, when you are traveling, that is when you become traveler, then you can break the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. وَإِنَّ وَحَاضِرٍ صَوْمَ يَوْمَ ثُمَّ سَافَرَ فِي إِثْنَائِهِ فَلَهُ فِطْرٌ. Now, 2 opinions on this matter. They cannot break. They can break. What is the right opinion? What is the close opinion? According to Sunnah is, you can break the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. وَإِنْ أَفْتَرْتَ حَامِلٌ أَوْ مَرِيضٌ خَوْفًا عَلَى نَفْسِهَا فَقَضَاتُهُ فَقَطْ. Now a woman who is carrying the child, okay, and a woman, murdi'in, and other woman who is feeding the child, what about them? What is the ruling on these people? Do they have to fast or not? The woman who is carrying the child, okay, the woman who is pregnant, a woman who is feeding the child, what is ruling on this? Do they have to fast or they're exempted from fasting? What is the ruling? Exempted? Exempted when إِذَا خَافَ عَلَى نَفْسِهَا, if she fears upon herself, or if she ala jineen, or upon her child, the one who she's feeding, or the child in the stomach, okay, if she fears that if I do not eat food, if I do not drink, that is going to affect my pregnancy, that is going to affect the child, in that case she can what? She can break the fast, but she has to compensate later. But there are so many women who I have seen who are in the state of pregnancy, they continued fasting. Even they were pregnant. Is it clear? There are some women who used to feed the children, the infant children, okay. But if she fears for herself, if she fears for the child, okay, because nowadays we have lactogen, we have Cerelac, we have a lot of things where you can feed the child. With the older days, we don't have any other milk except the mother's milk, and if you do not eat food, there is no production of the milk. So fasting, what makes the fasting? It does not produce the milk. When it does not produce the milk, what happens? It is problematic for the child. So when it is problematic for the infant child, what happens? It becomes difficult. So in that case, it is allowed for them who fears for herself, for the child, to break the fast. But what is the condition here is that the condition is she has to make up the fastings later. She can't give fidyah here. There are many people who give fidyah. They think they are exempted from fasting. No, even if you have given fidyah for last 10 years, you have to compensate those fastings. Because you have not given the rights to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say qada, qada is a right, isn't it? Compensation is a right. Inna ad-deenu dayna, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily, the religion is a dain, credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to kitab al-salah, the ulama, they say that, for example, if a person misses the prayer intentionally, somebody misses the prayer, Ibn Taymiyyah and some of the ulama, they say that even if he has to perform 10,000 times, that salah, it will not be compensated. Qada is qada, finished. It will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jumhur ulama, they say, the majority of the scholars, they say that let him pray because this is a credit with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let him finish. This is in the hands of Allah whether to fast or whether to compensate, whether to reward him, whether to be accept him. You know this Walid bin Talal, you know, the prince of in Riyadh, from the South family. Walid bin Talal, one of the richest man in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. You know what, he tells a story. He says that for 3 months he did not pray. For 3 months he did not pray. He did not pray salah at all. One night he got up with fear and he remembered that he has to pray. And what he did, all the 3 months prayer he completed in the entire night. He finished in the entire night. And he says that since after that he never missed salah in Jama'ah. He never missed any salah. So it all depends on what? The niyyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given rukhsa. And Allah likes that you take rukhsa. What is rukhsa? The easiness. Rukhsa is not the easiness. The concession. So you can take the concession. But it all depends on the niyyah that you follow. He could have just made tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he didn't want to do it. He wanted to pray all the prayers. He finished and he prayed all the prayers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him tawfiq. So qada here, if you want to make qada, you make qada as much as possible. If you don't want to make qada for those fastings where you have not done, some people, what happens is, among Muslimin, they will come and say, Shaykh, for 15-20 years I was never I never fasted. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me hidayah. I became religious. Should I have to fast all the fastings of those years or not? What is the ruling? It's going to be difficult. 20 years means 20 months. And between Ramadan also comes. And that's like, entirely you will be fasting for 2-3 years continuously. It's not possible. It is going to become difficult upon the believer. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy. You ask forgiveness to Allah, Allah is going to accept your forgiveness. That is different, inshallah. Same thing with the prayers as well. The one who do not pray for years together, does he have to compensate? Not necessarily that he has to compensate. Rather, he make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and later he should not stop fasting, inshallah ta'ala, or miss his prayers. Wadah, clear? Now, ومن نوى الصوم ثم جن أو أغمي عليه جميع النهار ولم يفق جزءا منه لم يصح. This issue I discussed in the beginning. What is the issue which I discussed in the beginning? This one. A person became majnoon. And then he became again normal. So is fasting obligatory upon that person? Is fasting obligatory upon that person? No, fasting is not obligatory upon that person. Is it clear? But what of the person who become unconscious and become conscious? The fasting has to be continued. It has to be continued. But if the unconsciousness goes for a longer time until the iftar, then they have to make qada. We discussed in the beginning. Is it clear now? Now we are going to discuss another important thing. وَيَجِبُ تَعَيُّنُ النِّيَّةِ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ لِصَوْمِ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ وَعَجِبٌ لَا نِيَّةَ الْفَرِيضَةِ. Now we are just going to discuss about the niyyah. How to make niyyah for the fasting. What is the niyyah for the fasting? Can we make niyyah for the fasting? Is there anywhere in the religion of Islam that you have to make niyyah with your tongue? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "An-niyyatu makanuha qalb." The place of the niyyah is heart. Is it clear? So there is no niyyah with the tongue. There is no niyyah with the tongue. There is only one place in the religion of Islam during Hajj where you can make niyyah. Allahumma, what is it? La. Before that, labbaik Allahumma umratan wa hajjan. Labbaik Allahumma umratan wa hajjan. before you enter into the ihram, you enter ihram before the miqat, you make this dua. This sunnah, this is also sunnah, not obligatory. But niyyah is obligatory with the heart. Niyyah is obligatory with the heart. So there are some people who did make this niyyah, right? In the morning you'll find the people making niyyah. What is it? They say nawaitu something. No? Nawaitu sawma gadin. Something is it? I don't. No, something like that. There is no dalil in the religion of Islam to say that these du'as are there. Niyyah is where you make niyyah for the next day. Now the question here is that when are we going to make niyyah? How are we going to make niyyah? When are we supposed to make niyyah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that you make niyyah the day before, that is night before the next day, the night before the next day, or before Tulu al-Fajr, or before the Tulu al-Fajr. When it comes to obligatory niyyah, when it comes to obligatory fasting. Now the ulama have discussed, do we have to make niyyah every night, or can we make niyyah once in the beginning of the Ramadan? There is ikhtilaf among the scholars on this matter. Some of the ulama, they say once you make niyyah, because this is taraddud, this is something which continuously you are fasting. Month of Ramadan is a continuation of fasting. In that case, one niyyah is enough for the entire month. Some of the ulama, they say no, because of the hadith you have to make niyyah before every night. And some of the ulama, they say if you haven't made niyyah and you slept, for example, you're busy, you came back home and you slept at Maghrib, you didn't make niyyah for the next day, and you got up next day at 10 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. The ulama, they say his fasting is not valid because he did not make niyyah. He did not make niyyah. Is it clear? So what a person makes niyyah and sleeps, tomorrow is Ramadan, I will sleep. In that case, there is fasting. And sometimes what happens, when you are on the 30th day of Shaban, and you made niyyah, if tomorrow fasting, you won't make niyyah by tongue. You think that tomorrow, inshallah, if Ramadan, I will fast. Then you slept, you got up, then you come to know Ramadan has already started. You continue your fasting. Okay, some people, they believe that suhoor is obligatory. Suhoor is not obligatory. Some people ask question, Shaykh, I got up and when I got up it is 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I didn't have my suhoor. Do I have to continue my fasting? Of course you should continue your fasting. Suhoor is from mustahabbat, not from wajibat, or not from the shurut, conditions, isn't it? Tasahhuru fa inna fihi baraka. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, make suhoor, in this suhoor there is a lot of barakah. That means it is not obligatory, it is something which is mustahab. Even if you miss suhoor, absolutely no problem. Suhoor in the sense you don't have to eat 2 plates of biryani. Okay, suhoor means you don't have to fill until your throat. You'll be like, let me have suhoor the entire day, 12 hours, 14 hours fasting. So let me completely make my stomach full till it reaches my neck, because it reaches neck. By afternoon it will be in stomach, it will be in the chest. By evening it will be in the stomach. It reduces, right? It reduces. It's not like that. Anything with tamar, with water, with milk, with anything, you have it, there is barakah in that. Some of the people, they say that if you do not find anything, take at least salt and taste the salt. Not like that. Water is enough, dates enough. Even if you don't have anything, directly continue fasting, inshallah ta'ala. But one thing you must have seen while fasting, when you are fasting, you are active. The day entirely you will be active, you will be fasting. The moment you have iftar, you will be like sleepy, you feel drowsy, you feel lethargic. Why? Because you keep eating the way you feel it, the stomach. But you eat 1 or 2 days, still you feel active. That is psychological reasons as well, where a person eats, the stomach will become full and the body is absorbing water, the mechanism is changing inside. Because of that, person feels lethargic and things like that. Okay, but what is best thing is that eat little on and break fast with little, not filling your stomach and making things difficult upon yourself. Even if you do it, no problem, but it is better to take care of your health, because health is also amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So niyyah has to be made before every night. This is for what? Obligatory fasting. What about the nawafil and sunnah fastings? no problem. Sunnah Nawafil fasting, you can fast anytime. Here also the ulama they say, for example, if you're fasting Ayyamul Bid, if you're fasting the Mondays and Thursdays, if you want to fast 3 days a month of Ramadan, 3 days a month of every month, if you're fasting Ashura, if you're fasting for Arafah, Yawmul Arafah, okay, in that case the niyyah has to be done in the morning itself, before Tulul Fajr. You got up, you didn't want to fast, then you decided to fast, okay, you continued fasting. The ulama they say you will not get the ajr for it. You will not get the ajr for it. This is for those fasting which is muqayyad, which has got certain reasons, okay. Those fastings which does not have any reason, which are nawafil, you are fasting nawafil, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went home, he asked, do you have anything to eat? He says, his wife, they say, there's nothing to eat, ya Rasulullah. In that case, what do? What does he do? He'll continue fasting. For that nawafil fasting, you don't have to make niyyah. Is it clear? For fard, one day night, or for the any asbab, just morning. For no asbab, you can make niyyah at any time. In this also the ulama have told. For example, you reach the level of, for example, now it's after some time it will be 11, 12 o'clock. You haven't eaten anything from morning. This is the condition, that you haven't eaten anything from morning. If you have eaten anything, you can't fast. Since you did not eat anything from morning and you won't fast now, then the ulama they say that from the time you made niyyah of fasting till iftar, you will only get that ajr, not from the morning. From the time you made niyyah, not from the morning. You will not get the entire day fasting ajr. You only get from the time you fast. For example, even you did not eat anything till what time? Till asr. Then you made niyyah, let me fast. Accept or not accepted? You can fast nawafil. You will only get the reward from asr to maghrib iftar. That niyyah, and fasting is valid inshallah ta'ala. This way you can do it. Sometimes what happens, you will become busy, you won't have anything from morning. So if there is some time left for maghrib and you don't have anything, try to fast nawafil, where you will get the reward, and you will be getting the reward of fasting as well inshallah ta'ala. This is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to do it inshallah. Now, وَيَسِحُّ النَّفْلُ بِنِيَّةٍ مِنَ النَّهَارِ قَبْلَ الزَّوَالِ وَبَعْدَهُ, as I told you. The niyyah for the nawafil fasting is absolutely fine when it comes to day, whether it is before zawal or after zawal. What is zawal? What is zawal? What cave? Zawal means cave is looking at up. What is zawal? When the sun is in the zenith. When the sun is in the zenith, exactly in the middle. Exactly in the middle. Okay? Middle of you. Middle of you. What does it mean? Exactly. Above you. Not, for example, in the Bangalore, sun is now. In the Bangalore, still the sun has not become middle. After 5 or 10 minutes, it comes into the middle. You can't depend on what Bangalore thinks. You should be in your city in the mid. And some people they say 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Some people they say 1 o'clock. It's not like that. It changes. Winter to winter, summer to summer, rainy to rainy seasons. The sun sets, the sun rises, and the sun sets. All has different timings. Even the zawal also keep changing. So you should be knowing what time it is. What time it is. So it is before or after, doesn't matter. Before or after, doesn't matter. As long as you want to make fasting and you make niyyah for the nawafil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows Rasulullah allowed to make niyyah, and that will be valid inshallah ta'ala. وَلَوْ نَوَى إِنْ كَانَ غَدًا مِنْ رَمَضَانِ فَهُوَ فَرْضًا لَمْ يُجْزِهُ وَمَنْ نَوَى الْإِفْطَارُ أَفْطَرَ بِمُجَرَّدِ النِّيَّةِ إِنْ قَطَعَ الصِّيَامِ. Now a person, this issue we discussed now, that is إِنْ كَانَ غَدًا مِنْ رَمَضَانِ فَهُوَ فَرْضِ. This is a person who doesn't know whether tomorrow is Ramadan or not. That issue which I told you. He slept. He doesn't know tomorrow Ramadan or not. But he made intention that if tomorrow is Ramadan, I will fast. He made a niyyah. In that case, fasting is valid. Fasting is valid. There's another person who did not make niyyah at all. What about that person? Fasting is invalid. So upon him, what he has to do? He has to compensate. He has to compensate. Is it clear, Mr. Anna? We will go to the second bab. Akil, when shall we take the break? 10:45, right? Yeah. We are going to discuss another issue right now, the things which breaks the fasting. Ma yufsidu sawma wa yujibu al-kafara. What breaks the fasting? What makes the kafara obligatory? Very important topic. What breaks the fasting? We'll go in detail. And this fasting here means any fasting. Ayyan kana min al-fara'id, or whether it is from the obligatory fasting, or even if it is from nawafil fasting. Okay. So here, what breaks the fast? Min man akala, the one who eats. The one who eats, it breaks the fasting. Ida akala mu'tamidan amdan. If a person eats purposefully, intentionally, his fasting breaks. His fasting breaks. But if a person eats unintentionally, fasting does not break. Has anybody experienced like this, that you ate nicely and you later like, you know, it was like fasting? SubhanAllah. Once what happened, I was with my friends, Tulab al-Ilm, or student of knowledge. They came to my house. Okay, it was Asr. I was fasting that day. It was Asr. I bought some chips and other things. None of them had. I ate completely, 3-4 packets, completely. Then I was like, you know, I was fasting 3-4 packets, and I was fasting. So I continued fasting because I ate it out of nisyan. And there is one video that circulates every Ramadan. The question which was asked to Al-Arifi, you know, that one person calls him. Do you know this video? A person calls and says, Ya Shaykh, ana sharibtu thalatha litr al-ma. I drank 3 liters of water. Then I ate shawarma. Then I ate tuffah. And then after that I had some salad and apple and all these things. Is my fasting valid? He ate completely 3 liters of water. We don't drink 3 liters of water the entire day, but he drank 3 liters of water. However, whatever it is, if you have done out of nisyan, out of forgetfulness, in that case, whatever it is, even if you have eaten one grilled chicken, doesn't matter. If you have done it out of forgetfulness, your fasting is still valid, alhamdulillah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fed you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fed you. So akala breaks the fasting. Aw shariba, drinking, breaks the fasting. Same thing, drinking or eating, nisyan doesn't break. Intentionally breaks it. Aw ista'ata, yani idkhalu shay min anf. Ista'ata means taking something into the nose. For example, nowadays we had this issue of corona testing. So they used to put that instrument into the nose or into the mouth sometimes, right? So does it break the fast? No, it does not break the fast. Some of the ulama, they say it breaks the fast. Why? Because entering something into the body. No, it does not break the fast. According to the Qawl al-Rajah, Jumhur al-Ulama, Ibn Taymiyyah, and all the scholars, most of the scholars, they say it does not break the fast. That is, ista'ata means that is to enter something through the nose. Now we have another issue. Aw ihtakana. Ihtakana means idkhalu shay'in min ad-dubur, fi ad-dubur. Entering something from the back portion. Inserting something from the back portion. Does it break the fast or not? It doesn't break the fasting, is the Qawl al-Rajah. Some of the ulama, they say no, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. Now, keeping these things in the mind, the ulama, they say that vaccination, injections that you take, it does not break the fasting. Why? Because this vaccination is not a food that you take for the body. It is something, a chemical or water. It is something to protect your, it is not a food. For example, if you take an injection which contains giza, which contains the vitamins and minerals, that breaks the fasting. Whether you take it through nose, whether you take through mouth, whether you take with injection, that breaks the fasting. Some people have pain, right? So during that time, they can take injection, painkiller injection. Does it break the fasting? No, it doesn't break the fast, because that is not food. That is not food. What breaks the fasting is any injection that you take which provides the energy for your body, that breaks the fasting. So anything that you enter from your nose or from your mouth, from your back portion, whatever it is, does not break the fasting ala qawl al-rajih, according to the according to the right opinion. Now, how احتحل بما يصل إلى حلقه is sometimes what happens is, it is mentioned here kuhul, we apply for the eye. When you apply kuhul, what happens? You can feel the taste in the mouth. Can you feel the taste in the mouth? That coolness you can feel in the mouth as well. For example, there are certain things, certain cream. If you apply on the skin, you can feel the taste in the mouth. You can feel the taste inside the mouth. Yes or no? Don't you feel that? We men don't apply cream, so where do we feel? The women, they know better. When they apply some creams or anything, they can feel the taste in the mouth. Does it break the fasting or not? That's the question here. Some of the ulama, they say the kuhul or anything that you apply on the face, on the head, if it goes to the hilq, to the throat, it breaks the fasting. But what is sahih is, kuhul is not a food. Nobody eats kuhul for energy. Nobody eats cream. Take cream and Fair and Lovely. Not Fair and Lovely, Glow and Lovely now. There's no Fair and Lovely. It's Glow and Lovely. Fair and Lovely is a problem now. There is no fair. Nobody become fair here. It's like your wrist. It's like a racist here. It's a Glow and Lovely here now. Glow and Lovely. So if you apply Glow and Lovely or any cream, and that taste if you feel in the mouth does not break the fasting. Is it clear now? And certain situations, like for example, somebody is having asthma. Somebody is in asthma, and they are fasting, and they have to use the inhaler, the puff inhale. That thing is not a food. That thing which opens the breathe, the esophagus. What is it? It opens for them, so they can breathe better. This does not break the fasting. Is it clear? But what breaks the fasting is anything that gives energy to you. Anything that is what? Substitute of the food. For example, people travel to space. What do they eat? Biryani. What do they eat? They eat one small tablet. That would suffice for them the entire thing, because that contains all the things, vitamins, minerals, everything contains in that. So they will not eat the food. Similarly, if you eat any tablet that has the substitute of the food, or anything, or any injection, or anything that inject your body, that is a substitute of all these things, that breaks the fasting. Is it clear now? That breaks the fasting. So kuhul, when you apply, it does not break the fasting. This is the opinion of the majority of the scholars, and Ibn Taymiyyah has this opinion. Why always I say Ibn Taymiyyah? Why always Ibn Taymiyyah? Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, وَهُوَ آيَةٌ مِّنْ آيَةِ اللَّهِ. He is one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sign from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And his opinions, if you see, according to the other madahibs and his opinion always like mutawassit, very much balanced. I personally found Ibn Taymiyyah's opinions are far better than the opinions of the other madahibs, personally. And some people have preference over different madahibs. I prefer Ibn Taymiyyah. In fact, some of the ulama, they say that if you stick on to Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim, the books of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim, you have succeeded. So these things are being explained, and Ibn Taymiyyah has certain opinions on certain matters which are absolutely in the middle path, which is not extreme, which is not extremely negligent, which is not extremely harsh, which has got a middle path. That's why I keep quoting the aqwal of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, which actually suits. There is a book written by Al-Hajj, one of the Sudanese mashayikh. He passed away rahimahullah when he was young, 40 years old. So he made a thesis in Makkah or Medina. He wrote a thesis, and the thesis talks about the aqwal of Ibn Taymiyyah, which his opinion goes against the opinion of Aimma Arba. You understand? Aimma Arba has one opinion on particular matter. Ibn Taymiyyah comes with another opinion which removes all the opinion of these four madahibs. So Ibn Taymiyyah is a scholar, وَهُوَ مُجْتَهِدٌ مُطْلَق. He is a ijtihad, he had a mujtahid mutlaq, a complete knowledge he had. He had complete knowledge. He had his own ijtihad, which goes against the ijtihad of all the four madahibs. And if you see all the Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Maliki, Hanbali, these are not just scholars. These are not just scholars. These are, subhanallah, imam. Imam means they are the leaders of the ummah. The leaders of the ummah. So they are considered here. The Imam Ibn Taymiyyah is considered as Imam of the ummah. No, if somebody considers me as Imam, then you fooled yourself. Understand? If somebody considers me as Shaykh, you fooled yourself. Shaitan has deceived you. I am not nowhere Imam, I am nowhere a Shaykh, I am Talib al-Ilm, Sagir min Talib al-Ilm. But these people are Kabir, subhanallah, the mountain of knowledge, ocean of knowledge they have. Ibn Taymiyyah, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam Shafi, Maliki, Imam Abu Hanifa, subhanallah. These are the real Warathatul Anbiya. Warathatul Anbiya. Now, طيب. وأدخل إلى جوفه شيء من أي موضع كان غير إحليله. For example, when you insert something into your body from any parts of the place. For example, you enter through the neck, or you enter something through body, or you enter through from the brain. For example, there are some people who can't eat. And how are you feeding them? By making a hole, sometime in the neck, or sometime directly through the stomach, isn't it? So anything that you enter through stomach, through neck, or through nose, in any parts of the body, that gives the ghizā, that gives the energy for the body, that breaks what? The fasting. Is it clear? Keep this in the mind very clearly. Anything that goes to the body, that gives energy for the body, that breaks the fasting. From any parts of the body, if you feed, it will break the fasting. People say, I didn't eat like this, but I inserted from here. No, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. Similarly, in Kitab al-Tahara we have a person who urinates, breaks the wudu or not? Person who makes the wudu, who urinates, breaks the wudu or not? And there is a problem for him. He can't urinate. So the doctors have put pipe from different body. Different place on the body. So he urinates from there. That is break the wudu or not? Yes, it breaks the wudu. It's all about ikhraju ayyi shay'in najasatin min badanik. That is any kind of what? The najas that comes out from the body from any place, that breaks the wudu. This is a qaida that we apply for anything, for all the masails almost now. Now, istiqa. What is istiqa? A person purposefully he vomits. How does he vomit? Normally what comes in the mind is keeping the finger, right? By putting the finger into the mouth, you purposely vomit. Does it break the fasting or not is an ikhtilaf matter among the scholars. Now when we say vomiting comes in different ways. Intentionally, unintentionally. Intentionally, how? You keep the finger and you puke. Okay? The unintentionally is when you see something which you dislike, or when you hear something that you dislike, isn't it? That time also you start vomiting. You smell something that you dislike, that time also you vomit. Does it break the fasting or not? There are two opinions on this matter. The person who vomits unintentionally does not break the fasting. There is no ikhtilaf on this matter. Now a person intentionally vomits. In this case, there is ikhtilaf, either by using the finger or either by smelling something which is disgusting. Okay, if you vomit, some of the ulama they say that it breaks the fast, but the majority of the scholars they say that it does not break the fast. Why it does not break the fast? You're not taking something inside the body. You're not eating something, but you're bringing out something. Is it clear? So it does not break the fast. هذا هو قول راجح. So it does not break the fast. Intentional vomiting or unintentional vomiting does not break the fasting. So you can't make an excuse. Okay? Intentionally if you fast now, or unintentionally also if you fast. Istimna. What is istimna? Istimna is yakhrujul mani. What is money? Money, What is mani? Semen, sperm. Istimna is masturbation. Masturbation can be done, self-masturbation, or your wife does, or your spouse does. Okay? If the mani comes out while fasting, according to the ulama, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. So it is not allowed for you to ejaculate. But sometimes what happens, even without masturbation, even without istimna, there is ejaculation. There is ejaculation. What about that person? Does it break the fast? It does not break the fast. Regarding this, the ulama, they discuss about this matter in Kitab al-Tahara, upon whom the ghusl is wajib. Inshallah ta'ala, we will have a workshop on Tahara inshallah very soon. In that we will be discussing all this matter. So one of the things which I want to mention here is that a person he ejaculated the sperm with shahwa, upon him there is ghusl obligatory. A person who did not ejaculate out of shahwa, but it came out without any reason, there is no ghusl on that person. There is no ghusl on the person. Imam Shafi is of the opinion that whether it came out of the shahwa or not shahwa, ghusl is wajib. Imam Ahmad says, Imam Abu Hanifa says that if it comes out without shahwa, just like that, there is no ghusl wajib. There is no ghusl wajib. This is the issue, and I am of this opinion that if it comes out without any shahwa or desire, just like that, there is no ghusl wajib. But it comes out with shahwa, ghusl becomes wajib. Now another issue on the same matter, when you're sleeping, when you get up and see sometime you have had ihtilam and you do not remember whether you have seen a dream or not. Whether you have seen a dream in the sleep, whether you have not seen a dream and it has come out, ghusl will become wajib in that particular place. While sleeping and also while you are unconscious, the ghusl will become wajib. Same thing here applies. Same thing here applies. Is it clear? If somebody ejaculates during the time of fasting, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. Some of the ulama, they say it does not break the fasting because he did not eat anything. He did not eat anything. That is highly disliked. But what is sahih is it breaks the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. Now, and this is the opinion of this madhab Hanabila, is the opinion that it breaks the fasting. Now, أو باشر فأمنى يعني باشر زوجته وباشر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. And do not go with your wives when you are in the masjid, i'tikaf. This we are talking about in the i'tikaf. Bashiruhunna means do not have sexual relation with your wives. Same thing happens while fasting. While fasting you can't have sexual relation with your wife. Okay? Even if there is no penetration, intimacy happening there, but still you're not supposed to have this. Why? Because this would become a sabab for you to ikhraj al-mani. This become a sabab for you to ejaculate the sperm. If that is the case, madhab says it breaks the fasting. And here also there are issues. Some people have the ulama have decided on this matter. Some people they have they will have with their wives not intercourse, but kissing and touching and all these things they do while fasting. Okay, if the person is able to control and without the ejaculation of the sperm, then it is fine. But it's still not like it is not allowed. What is not allowed is the intercourse, penetration. But otherwise it is absolutely fine. But if it comes out, then that is a problem. هذه من مفسدات الصوم. This is from the things which breaks the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. أو مدى أو أمدى. What is amda? Madi. What is madi? You know what is madi? Madi. Madi is a fluid that comes out, that is a pre-sexual ejaculation. Small white liquid, small liquid like water substance, thick liquid comes for the men and women. When they think about the sexual desire, when they think about their husband, wife, this happens. So this does not break the fasting. This does not break the fasting, but breaks the tahara. It breaks the tahara. You have to make wudu. You have to clean yourself. It does not break the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. أو كرر نظر فأنزل. Another issue here when it comes to ejaculation, a person is looking at something which is impermissible. And by looking also, what happens sometimes? A person ejaculates. Does it break the fast? Some of the ulama, they say it breaks the fast. Some of the ulama, they say it does not break the fast. What is sahih? It does not break the fast, and that's a particular issue, inshallah ta'ala. Qawlu rajih. It does not break the fast. By karra another, by looking at something, he is not doing anything, but looking at something impermissible, and he ejaculated. In this case, ulama, they say it breaks. Madhab says it breaks. Some of the ulama, they say it does not break. Hada huwa qawlu rajih. طيب. Now, أو حجم أو احتجم وظهر دم. And this issue is something which we need to discuss. What is hajama wa ihtajama? The one who does hijama, the one who gets the hijama done. The one who does hijama, the one who gets the hijama done. In that case, what is his ruling? Does it break the fast or not? There are also ulama have difference of opinion on this matter. Why? Because by removing the blood, what happens? You will feel active or you feel tired. You will feel tired. When the blood is being sucked from your body, you feel tired. And that tiredness, especially when you are fasting, that might lead to break your fast. In that case, the ulama, they say it automatically breaks your fasting. Automatically break your fasting. It's clear. But what is sahih is, it does not break the fast. It does not break the fast. And the hadith talks about the one who does hijama, that ruling has been ruled out. The one who does hijama, where he is in the state of fasting, it does not break his fast. Problem here is the one who gets the hijama done. One opinion says it breaks it, another opinion says it does not break. And the majority, they say it does not break the fasting, and it is always better to stay away from hijama, especially when you are fasting, because that might lead you to become unconscious sometimes. You might fall, you might faint, you might probably become sick, you might become very weak, especially while fasting. That is much better, inshallah ta'ala. Is it clear? أو احتجم وظهر دم وعامدا ذاكرا لصومه فسد. A person eats without any nisyan, without any ignorance, that person fasting is invalid, and he has to compensate the fasting. And there is no kafara here for eating and drinking purposefully. There is no kafara. But the kafara is the akhirah. What is it? Punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a difference between the fasting of a person, because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that a person who fasts, the ajr is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you might be praying, somebody is looking at you, you might beautify your prayers. Yes or no? You might be going for hajj. You're doing for whom? For the sake of people, might be. But fasting is a thing that you will not do for the sake of people. Because you might say, I am fasting. You can go inside the room and you can eat. So that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the ajr of the fasting is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why he did not mention the reward of the fasting. For example, if it is mentioned for the salah, if somebody prays salah in the masjid, what is the reward? 27 times. If a person prays salah in the Masjid Al-Haram, Al-Makki, Makkah, more than 1 lakh, not 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh. Khairun min alf miyatin, more than 1 lakh. If somebody prays in Masjid Nabawi, what is the reward? 1,000. Somebody prays in Masjid Aqsa, 500. Somebody prays in any other masajids, 27 times. Rasul mentioned the ajr. Somebody perform hajj properly, hajj mabrur. Reward is Jannah. It is mentioned. Some of the things are being mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and ajr is also been mentioned, except for the fasting. Because this is between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that if a person fasts for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one day, you're not talking about obligatory fasting, you're talking about nawafil fasting, then Allah will save your face from Jahannam for 80 years. For 80 years. Allahu Akbar. My age is not 80. We do not know when we will reach 80 years or not. Isn't it? So for 80 years, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to protect you from falling into Jahannam, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, we'll stop here. We will continue with the same chapter after the break. We'll take a small break for about 15 minutes. Inshallah, then we have a couple of chapters, very important chapters to discuss about. We'll discuss that in our second session. We'll come back in 15 minutes from right now. وهذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmid din, amma ba'd. I expect all of you to take the seats inshallah ta'ala and concentrate on this inshallah. Ya ikhwani, barakallahu feekum. Now we are going to discuss some of the things. We are discussing about those matters that makes the siyam, that invalidates one's fasting. There are certain things that does not invalidate the fasting. What are those things, inshallah, we'll discuss right now. Okay? For example, if a person eats and drinks by forgetfulness, obviously we know that it does not break one's fasting. أو طار إلى حلقه ذباب أو غبار. If somebody swallows any kind of dust, somebody swallows any kind of ant, the flies, sometimes what happens, you will be yawning. Sometimes what happens, the fly goes into your mouth. Isn't it? It happens, right? Does it break the fast? It doesn't break the fast. Sometimes what happens is, while you're riding the vehicle, the pollution, the dust that goes into your nose and the mouth, does it break the fast? No, it does not break the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. أو فكر فأنزل, and the person is keep thinking about sexual activities. The person is keep thinking about sexual activities and he ejaculated. You just ask the question, does it happen? Of course. And there are some people who have the problems of ejaculation even without having intercourse or any other ways. Because of mind, because of thinking also happens. Even because of not all these reasons, also there is ejaculation because of some people are having disease because of this, because of the disease. So if a person keep thinking and it happens, there is no صومه لا يفسد. The fasting does not become invalid. أو احتلم أو أصبح في فيه طعام فلفظه. For example, you had iftar, you had suhoor. Sometimes what happens is there is some food particles which stuck into the nose and mouth, somewhere it will be here in the mouth, and while fasting that comes out. What are you supposed to do? If by mistake if you swallow it, does it break the fast? No, it does not break the fast. And also one more thing, when we make wudu, we take water while making wudu, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in one of the hadith, fasbiqul wudu, make the wudu in perfection, and do not make istinshar wa istinthar. Do not make it while making wudu, because the water might reach the nostrils, the water might reach the throat. So some of the ulama, they say that when you make wudu and while making wudu, by mistake the water goes into the throat, or the water goes through the nose into the throat, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. Some of the other ulama, they say that it does not break the fasting because it is not done intentionally. It is done by mistake. So what is qawl al-rajih? I want to ask you, do you know what is the meaning of qawl al-rajih? I've been telling qawl al-rajih from the beginning, because I am seeing tulab al-ilm here. I'm looking at the difference qawl al-rajih. There are some common people here who do not understand what is qawl al-rajih. Qawl means statement, rajih means which makes tarjih over the other statement, which is more authentic opinion. Rajjaha ala hadha al-qawl. Hadha al-qawl marjuh. You understand, right? That's what we say. Rajjaha means which is more authentic. Qawl al-rajih is more authentic opinion. That is the meaning, qawl al-rajih. Now you understand what is the meaning. Okay? So here, if a person drinks or eats and while making wudu, the water goes into the halq, into the throat by mistake, it does not break the wudu. It does not break the wudu. هذا هو قول الراجح. This is the most authentic opinion, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. أو اكتسل. by making ghusl, does it break the wudu? Does not. Sorry, does it break the fasting? Does not break the fasting. I want to tell you a funny thing. A funny thing is that when I accepted Islam, some people scared me. To an extent, I had to literally, look over myself the entire day while I'm fasting. How? For example, they said that if anywhere there's an injury, blood comes out, it breaks the fast. It breaks the fast. And I was just 19 years old at the time. In 19 years, what do you expect? You will fall from the bike, you will fall from the cycle, you will be running here and there, you get hurt. Unlike when you become old. When you become old, okay? I'm not old, by the way. And you become old, okay? It breaks. I was dead scared. And once what happened, while fasting, because of the statement, I took it seriously. We didn't have knowledge. They said that anywhere blood comes out, it breaks the fast. What happened? I got an injury. Knife cut my finger, okay? And there was blood. I was like, entire day my fasting is gone. And I had to eat and drink. Astaghfirullah. And I had to compensate for that later, when I came to know the real knowledge of it. And some people they say that, what about this things, the saliva? Okay, they say that swallowing the saliva, it breaks the fast. So I would like keep spitting entire day. Thing is that Islam, it does not break the fast. It does not break the fast. But if you keep doing this while fasting, you will dehydrate yourself. You dehydrate yourself. I will keep spitting. Why? Some fool told that by swallowing the saliva, it breaks the fast. And not only that, sometimes you will get this fulgum, which mucus, right, from the throat, from the chest. So it comes to the mouth sometimes. In that case, you can either spit or if you swallow it. Some of the ulama they say, some of the Hanafi madhab they say, it breaks the fasting. But what is sahih is, it does not break the fast. Nobody eats bulgum as a food, right? You swallow it. It does not break the fasting. There are people around you who come to you and they'll scare you. Blood comes out, breaks the fast. This you do breaks the fast. And subhanallah, they'll scare you. They will make the religion so tough. You'll be thinking, why did I accept the religion of Islam? That's how the thinking will be, subhanallah. So Islam is all about religion. It's an easy religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرِ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرِ. Allah wants to make things easy for you. Allah does not want to make things difficult. وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ حَرَجٍ. Allah does not make this religion as a big, He did not make it hard upon you. This religion of Islam is ease. In fact, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu to Yemen, he said that after the completion of the hadith, he said, وَبَشَّرُوا وَلَا تُنَفَّرُوا يَسِّرُوا وَلَا تُعَسِّرُوا وَبَشَّرُوا وَلَا تُنَفَّرُوا. Make things easy, give them glad tidings, do not make things difficult upon them, so that they will run away from you. So people are making our deen very tough. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make our religion tough, we are making our religion tough upon ourselves with what? With ignorance, with jahala. That's why it is obligatory upon us to understand what our religion talks about. Inshallah. Waqtasala, by taking ghusl, it is not going to break fast. You must have heard some people saying taking bath while fasting breaks the fasting. You must have heard. I heard it. Did you hear that? I heard it. So people, taking bath does not break the fast. أو استنشق أو زاد على ثلاث وبالغ فدخل ماء حلقه لم يفسد. طيب. تمضمض. What is تمضمض? Gargling water in the mouth. When you gargle water in the mouth, what happens? Automatically some particle of the water stays back in the mouth. So if you swallow that water, not the water that you take and swallow it, it breaks the fasting. You took the water and you puked the water, and some water is being remained in the mouth. So in that case, the water, if you swallow that along with the saliva which is inside the mouth, it does not break your fasting. وَبَالَغَ فَدَخَلَ مَاءُ حِلْقَهُ. We discussed this. When you make wudu, and if you take the water, sniff the water into the nose or the mouth, it goes by mistake into the hilqa, it does not break the fasting. من أكل شأكا في طلوع الفجر صح صومه يعني شك طلوع الفجر. For example, a person got up. Nowadays, alhamdulillah, we have timings of iftar and suhoor, isn't it? Allah has made things easy for us. During those times, it was very difficult to understand whether Tulul Fajr has the adhan is been made or not. A person got up by mistake, he ate. By mistake, he ate, thinking that still the Fajr time is left. Time for the Fajr time is left. So in that case, what is the ruling? Shakir. The fasting is absolutely valid. But the same thing will not apply while breaking the fast. While breaking the fast, if somebody eats and drinks thinking that already sun is set, then the fasting is invalid. Why? You know the sun is set or not. But when it comes to Tulu al-Fajr, you can't see whether the timing. Tulu al-Fajr time, you can't see the sun. There is a difference between Tulu al-Fajr. There is a difference between Guru Bishams. Guru Bishams is very clear. Sun is set now, you can break the fast. Yes or no? But Tulu al-Fajr, you don't know. In that case, you have an exception here. But when it comes to Guru Shams, when it comes to sunset time, if you eat before that, it is not valid. The song will become invalid. So once we were in Fatwa Center, Masjid Haran. One person came, two Indians, two Pakistanis came. Shaykh, I have done something wrong. What? 2 minutes before I broke the fast. Before the timings, 2 minutes before I broke the fasting. What to do now? Do I have to compensate? Yes. Of course, you have to go and compensate your fasting. And fasting in the Makkah with that heat and with the thing, it's very difficult, isn't it? Nowadays, alhamdulillah, we have AC around. You go to home, you have AC. Go to taxi, you have AC. Go to masjid, you have AC. And you have water everywhere, fruits everywhere, alhamdulillah. During those times, it was very difficult. But yet, if somebody drinks or eats in this particular situation, they have to compensate later. لا إن أكل شأك في غروب الشمس أو معتقدا أنه ليلا فبان نهارا. This is what we discussed about the matter. We'll go to the next chapter now. فيما يتعلق بالجماع في نهار رمضان. This is a very interesting topic, especially for those who are married. I would always recommend you not to get married just before Ramadan. Never ever. Getting married just before Ramadan is going to make your Ramadan, as I told you, the meaning of Ramadan, burning, it burns you. It burns you. So it is not recommended for you to get married. I would say not recommend to get married after. It better to recommend not recommend to get married before Ramadan. Wait, finish Ramadan, then get married, inshallah. Some people are of the opinion. This chapter we are going to talk about whatever is related to jima, intercourse between the spouses in the month of Ramadan. Some people are of the opinion that you can't have intercourse at all in the month of Ramadan. Whether you are fasting, whether you are not fasting. After you break the fast, you are not supposed to do it. There are people who say this. But what does Allah say in the Quran? It is allowed. It is allowed when? Once after you break the fast. That is what we are going to discuss. By having intercourse in the month of Ramadan, there is kafara. Okay? Fima yata'allaku, whatever is related to bil jima', with intercourse, fi nahari Ramadan. It is mentioned fi nahari Ramadan. Laysa fi layli Ramadan. Nahar means the day of Ramadan. So who are exempted from this? What if a person does it? Inshallah ta'ala, we will discuss now. Man jama'a fi nahari Ramadan fi kubulin aw duburin. Whoever have intercourse in the month of Ramadan while fasting in the two passages, the front passage or the back passage. Back passage is haram. But even if a person does in the back passage, there is kafara upon that person. And what is the kafara? First tartib in kafara is itq raqaba, that is to free a slave. Nowadays we don't have slavery. Yesterday we were discussing about slavery, right? We had a big discussion about slavery, and you people took till to 1:30 to 1:45 in the night, right? About slavery. Somebody was telling in that. Who was telling that? The slaves who come, the maids who come to our houses are slaves. Somebody was telling this. Abu Bakr, somebody consider this, the slaves who come to your house, the maids who come to your house, they are slaves. They are not slaves. They are workers. Slaves are those whom you catch while after the fi sabilillah. I don't want to use that word here. Fi sabilillah means qital fi sabilillah. Qital ma'araka. Okay, fi sabilillah. Ghazwa fi sabilillah. If you catch that, they'll become slaves. The one who comes here to your house to clean your vessels and clothes, she will not become slave of you. So you can't you can't catch and say, I freed her. You can't catch that woman and say, I'm freeing ya Shaykh, I freed that woman. Whom did you free? My slave, my maid who come to my house. You can't do that. You can't do that. Another question was asked by one of the brothers last night was, Shaykh, can we catch anybody and make them slaves? You can't catch anybody randomly and make them slaves. I'll tell you a story of one of the Sahabi. This one Sahabi during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who used to make Rasulullah laugh. To an extent, Rasulullah used to laugh, and he used to do such a things. If you and me we do, there'll be kufr on us. That Sahabi used to do that. What is that? Rasulullah, once what happened? He and his friend were traveling. The Sahabi one, his friend was traveling. Okay, while traveling, he asked some money from him. Can you give me some money? Friend said, no, I'll not give you money. Go. What he did, they were traveling. They were resting somewhere. Now I'll teach him a lesson. Listen. He goes in search of some caravans, and he found one caravan. Caravan means the people who are traveling. He says, listen, I have a slave. And he's talking about his friend. I have a slave. Okay, give me this much of money. Go and take him. He's sitting there. Go and take him. He is sitting there. And one thing keep in the mind: if you go there and catch him, you will say, I'm not slave. You'll be telling all these lies. Okay, give me money. He took the money. He went. This fellow was caught. This Sahabi was caught. Okay, and he was taken as slave. Somehow he freed himself. He goes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, Ya Rasulullah, he sold me to somebody. What do I do? Rasulullah did not get angry. He smiled. Rasulullah started smiling. So he was exempted. There are some Sahabi who used to make, and the same Sahabi, what he used to do, he used to play games with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once what happened, a caravan is coming to Medina. He goes, he takes gift. He takes gift. Gift for whom? He says it's a gift for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't pay it. He took some gifts and he goes and give it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After giving to Rasulullah, these people are coming and asking money from this guy, from this Sahabi. The Sahabi says, go and ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these people went to Rasulullah asking, Ya Rasulullah, give money. For what? No, he took gift. This thing belongs to us. He didn't pay. And Rasulullah had to pay from his pocket. Rasulullah did not say anything to him. There is one Sahabi like this. So don't catch hold of your friends and say that I have to give kafar and you free the slave. You can't make a free man as a slave, inshallah ta'ala. And we know that issues right now. Maybe in the future, when we have ma'arak and all these things, most probably we'll find the slaves. What about Bukar? Now, من جامع في نهار رمضان في قبل أو دبر فعليه قضاء والكفار. So if he has jima means intercourse in the month of Ramadan, he has to give kafar. He has to give kafara, as well as he has to compensate that particular day's fasting. Okay. Now, the other kafara is, one is freeing the slave. That option right now we don't have. It's clear now. Second thing is, asiyamu shahraini mutatabi'ain. That is to fast 2 continuous months. Ramadan itself tough. And on top of, because of this, you fast for another 2 extra months. That is a punishment, kafara. Okay. If you can't fast for 2 continuous months, and what is the other kafara? Feed 60 people. And this incident happened with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with one of the Sahabi. One of the Sahabi goes to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, verily I had intercourse with my wife while fasting. What am I supposed to do? Here you see how Rasulullah dealt with him. He did not say, Ya Harami. He did not say, you worthless fellow on the face of the earth. He didn't ridicule him, insult him, he didn't punish him, he didn't do anything. Then go and give kafara, go and free the slave. He says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm poor, I can't free the slave. Then he says, okay, at least fast 2 months, 2 consecutive months. Then he says, Ya Rasul, I can't really fast for 2 consecutive months, I'm weak. Okay. Then he says, go and feed 60 people. Ya Rasulullah, I don't have any money to feed 60 people. Then he says, what do you have then? He says, Ya Rasul, I don't have anything. Then he orders to bring 2 baskets of tamr, dates, and he says, take this and feed it to 60 people. Then he says, Ya Rasulullah, there is nobody between these 2 mountains who are poorer than me. You understand what I'm saying? He says, this Sahabi says, between 2 mountains. What is a mountain? The Medina is between the 2 mountains actually. Between these 2 mountains, you will not find any miskin and fakir more than me. Then Rasul smiles at him and says, go, you use for yourself. Allah musta'an. What does it show? This religion of Islam is what? Very easy. It's easy. Alhamdulillah. So fatwa changes from person to person, situation to situation, time to time. Fatwa changes, person to person changes. SubhanAllah. You can't give the same fatwa for everybody. For this Sahabi, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forgave him. So if you're not able to do all these things, then Allah subhanahu, you ask tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive. Is it clear? Okay. وَإِنْ جَامَعَ دُونَ فَرْجِ فَأَنْزَلَ مُفْسِدُ الصَّوْمِ لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ. For example, a person fondled his wife, fondling his wife, but intercourse did not take place. But because of fondling her, what happened? Ejaculation occurred. Is there kafara on this? Is there kafara on this? No kafara. Kafara is only when there is intimacy, penetration happens. When there is no penetration happens, okay, there is no kafara. Another issue here, you penetrated but you did not ejaculate, yet there is kafara. Yet there is kafara. Is it clear? 2 different things. Now, أو كانت المرأة معذورة أو جعم من كان نوى الصوم في سفره أفطر ولا كفارة. Now another issue. In this also, some people are exempted. Who are exempted? Who are exempted? Traveler is exempted. A person who is traveler, there is no fasting on him. So he had intercourse with his wife in the month of Ramadan. Does he have to give kafara? What do you say, Mashayikh? What do you say? There is no kafara here. Why? He is a musafir. Now, another example. A person is a musafir. He is fasting, but he is fasting. Person is a musafir. He is fasting, but he had intercourse with his wife. Okay? Does he have to give kafara? Now it is a chemical reaction in the brain. What is happening? Is there kafara or not? What do you say? How many of you say there is kafara? How many of you say there is no kafara? Raise your hands. Nobody wants to say anything. Allahu alam. Allah knows best. No? There is no kafara for that person. Because by nature itself he is a musafir. He has the option to break the fast. He has the option to continue the fasting. So because of this illa, musafir, suffer, if he does intercourse with his wife, and by doing intercourse, what happens? Obviously, the fasting breaks, but there is no kafara upon that person. Is it clear? What about a person who is marid? Who is marid? The one who is sick, temporarily sick or permanently sick. Obviously permanently sick, there is no qada, but there is no kafara as well. But there is fidya for that person. What about a person who is temporarily marid, but he has intercourse? Is there kafara upon that person? No kafara upon that person, but qada is upon that person. Is it clear? But the marid, here we are talking about, he is not fasting obviously, but he did intercourse with his wife when he is marid. Is it clear? Now, I remember one question asked to one of the Mashayikh, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan. One person wore a Haran from Riyadh, okay, on the way to Umrah, okay. It's a funny question. Okay, he wears a Haran, and on the way he met a small accident. He injured his leg, and he couldn't perform Umrah. Then he goes to Jeddah. He's still in the Ihram. He thinks that he removed the Ihram. Then he had intercourse with his wife. And he says, "Ya Shaykh, what do I do?" Shaykh says, "You wore ihram and you traveled, you had an injury, you couldn't perform Umrah but you had intercourse?" Sheikh Salih Al-Fawzan asks. So what does he do? Of course, he has to give kafara there, because he's still in the state of ihram and he has to give one animal in slaughtering. That too, where in Makkah he has to give it. That's the ruling. Islam, subhanallah, it answers all your questions. It answers all your questions, alhamdulillah. Wherever, whatever it is, that small book, the Quran, if you follow it properly, if you understand it, it answers all the ways of life. Everything is being clarified in that matter, alhamdulillah. Now did you understand the masala here about the kafara or jima? Now we are going to another level now, in the jima itself. For example, ja'ma fi yawmaini. Example, a person who is fasting. He had intercourse with his wife today. What happens to him? What happens to him? He broke the fast and kafara upon him. Yes or no? What is the kafara? 2 months fasting, feeding 60 people. Yes or no? Next day, he did again. What is the punishment? 4 months fasting, another 60 people he has to add in giving the fidya. Third day also he had intercourse. Then how many months now? 2 plus 2 plus 2. 6 months fasting, and 2 plus 2, 60 plus 60 plus 60, 180 people he has to feed. Is it clear now? This is when it comes to different days. What if the same day? What if the same day? Morning, he's fasting, he had intercourse with his wife. What happens now? Fasting broke. Now kafara upon him, right? Now can he continue fasting? Can he continue fasting? Mufsid. The fasting is broken. In the evening again he will have intercourse. When? Before the iftar. Does he have to give kafara? Is it 2 kafara or 1 kafara? 1 or 2? Very good. 1. Only 1. When there is 2 days, 2 different siyam and 2 different times he did according to number of times he does in different days, that's when the kafara will be added. But if the same day he is doing, there is no adding of the kafara, but rather there is only 1 kafara. Is it clear now? Mas'ala. Now. فكفارة واحدة في الثانية وفي الأول إثنتان. And in the first one there are 2, in the second one there is only 1 kafara, that is 2 months and 60 days fasting. وإن جعم ثم كفر ثم جعم في يومه كفارة الثانية وكذلك من لزمه الإمساك إذا جامع يعني من كان مفطرا وجعم فعليه كفارة. A person upon whom there is a fasting obligatory, but he will not fast, but yet he has intercourse, upon him there is kafara. Is it clear, this masala? Now, ولا تجب الكفارة بغير الجماع في صيام رمضان. Kafara is only when you have intercourse when it comes to fasting that is related to Ramadan. But if you are fasting on Ashura, if you are fasting on Muharram, if you are fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, if you are fasting on day off, or Nawafil, fasting, any fasting, if you have intercourse while fasting, these fastings, other than, is there kafara for that? There is no kafara. Kafara is only for obligatory fasting. Is it clear? No. وهي إتق رقبة فإن لم يجد فصيام شهرين متتابعين فإن لم يستطع فإطعام 60 مسكينا فإن لم يجد سقطت. So what are the kafara we discussed? Freeing a slave, 2 months consecutively fasting, and feeding 60 people. Now there is one issue here. While fasting, you are you are actually fasting, kafara fasting, 2 months. Okay. In between, for example, Yawmul Eid came. Eid, any of the Eid came. Okay. You're fasting, for example, Ramadan, not possible. You're fasting for during Dhul Hijjah, you're fasting. Okay. So in between, Eidul Adha comes. Now Eidul Adha comes. Can you fast that day? Fasting that day is haram. So even if it's kafara, that day you will not fast. So is it going to break? No, it is not going to break. So you can continue fasting, inshallah ta'ala. Now other same issue is, imagine I have 2 months of kafara upon myself. I am fasting. I fast 20 days. 21st day I did not fast. No reason. I did not fast. 22nd day I start fasting again. Is it allowed? Again he has to start from 22nd, 2 months. So there should not be break in between. It has to be mutatabi'aini, means continuous fasting. What breaks in between is Eid breaks in between. If Eid is not breaking in between, you have to fast continuously. If you break yourself, okay, then you can't. If you break yourself without any reason here, you can't fast. Rather, you have to start from the beginning again. But you can break here because of Eid. You can break here because of you fall sick. You can break here if you're traveling. So these are the reasons where you can apply even in consecutive fasting, inshallah ta'ala. Keep in the mind. Is it clear now? This mas'ala. Right. We'll go to the next chapter. ما يكره وما يستحب وحكم القضاء. What is disliked things and what is the highly recommended acts and what is the ruling of qada. There are 3 things in this. What is makruh acts while fasting? What are the recommended acts while fasting? And what is the ruling on qada? Qada means compensating. Qada means compensating. Now, qada means compensating. Now, طيب يكره جمع ريقه فيبتلعه. What does it mean? Bringing and collecting the saliva in your mouth and swallowing it. This is from mufsidat or makruh? It is from makruh. Bringing the saliva into the mouth, then you swallow it. This is from makruh. It does not break the fasting. وَيَحْرُمُ بَلَغَ النُّخَامَ. According to the madhab, if the mucus, nukhama means something which comes out from the chest, or from the head. Mucus, thick mucus, okay, that comes out due to cold or due to any reason comes out. If you swallow that, according to madhab, it breaks the fasting. Jumhur ulama, they say it does not break the fast. Why? These people who say that this breaks the fasting, they say that it is something, it has come into the mouth. It has come into the mouth. So if you take it back, that is something breaks the fast. Because what is fasting? What breaks the fasting? Anything that goes beyond the halal. Anything. So this has come out from the halal and getting back, swallowing that back into the halal breaks the fasting. This is what dalil they give. But when it comes to Quran and Sunnah, there is no clear proof which says that it breaks the fasting. Rather, upon Jumhur ulama, the fasting is absolutely valid. وَيُفْتَرُ بِهَا فَقَطْ وَإِنْ صَلَّتْ إِلَى فَمِّهِ لَا يَفْتُرُ. In nukhama, it comes to your mouth and you swallow it, does not break the fasting. وَيُكْرَهُ ذُوقُ الطَّعَامِ بِلَا حَاجَةٍ. Tasting the food without any haja. So as long as you taste the food, for example, when you're cooking, it's allowed for you to taste the food. The condition here is you will not swallow the food. While cooking, you need to see whether it's spicy or it's salty or whatever it is. Take little and you can just taste it. And while tasting it, you will only restrict in your mouth. You will not make it beyond your neck, beyond your throat. The moment you swallow it, it breaks the fasting. It breaks the fasting. Is it clear? So you will not swallow that. You spit it back. In that case, it does not break the fasting, inshallah ta'ala. And here, dhuku ta'ami in the bracket is mentioned bila hajatin. Without any reason, keep tasting this, keeping tasting that, not allowed. Some people, what they do, they take chewing gum. They eat, but they don't swallow. They will be keep chewing it, but this one, it is allowed. Makruh, not allowed. Some people, they will be like, they will want to just taste it. They take toffee. Oh, nice. But they're not swallowing it, but spitting it back, but not swallowing here. Does it break the fast? Does not break the fast, but it is from the makruh acts. Is it clear? So bila hajjah. But if you are cooking and you want to see where you taste it, with the hajjah, it is not even makruh. It is something which is halal. What is makruh? Without any reason that you take it, that's when it becomes makruh. وَإِن وَجَدَ طَعْمُهَا فِي حِلْقَةِ أَفْطَرَ. And if you find that taste in the throat, it breaks the fasting. وَيُحْرَمُ عِلْكُ. Okay, we will not discuss about this. وَتَكْرَهُ الْكُبْلَةُ لِمَنْ تُحْرِكَ شَهْوَتَهُ. The one who kisses breaks the fasting or not, is the question here. According to Imam Ahmed, it breaks the fast and it is haram to kiss your wife while in the state of fasting. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to kiss his wife during fasting, and he says this is for those people who can control it. For the one who does not control it, for the person who does not control it, also does not break the fasting. Is it clear? Does not break the fasting, but it is from the makruhat. From the makruhat. When we say kissing whom? There is something called kissing the children. Does not break the fast. Kissing your mother does not break the fast. That is from the makruh. Kissing your father, your son, does not break the fast. Here we are talking about kissing whom? Your wives. Your wives does not break the fasting. Now, وَيَجِبُ اجْتِنَابُ. It is better. Now we are going to discuss about those things which are better to leave. What are those things better to leave? Kadhib, lying, ghiba, backbiting, lying does not affect the fasting, does not breaks the fast, but it reduces the reward of the fasting. Shatmin. What is shatmin? Abusing somebody. And while shatmin, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has clearly told us that if somebody comes and abuses you, makes you angry, you tell them what? I'm fasting. How many times will you say that? 3 times. I'm fasting. I'm fasting and fasting. If they continue to do that, just get up and walk away from that place. Now we are going to discuss about some of the sunan acts, mustahabbat acts of fasting. Liman shutima qawluhu inni sa'im, as I told you something before. If somebody is fasting, if somebody is making you angry, okay, abusing you, you tell them you are fasting. Number 2, وَتَأْخِيرُ السُّحُورِ. Delay the suhoor as much as possible. Delay the suhoor as much as possible. Now there are a few funny things here. Delaying the suhoor means, now for example, you are living in a Muslim around the Muslim area, and there are many masajids. And suhoor is when do you stop suhoor? When do you stop suhoor? When? Once the adhan starts, the time starts, the adhan started, you will stop eating. Once the adhan starts and you keep continually eating, your fasting is invalid. The fasting is invalid. Adhan started, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You are still eating. Fasting is invalid. Now you have some food in the mouth, adhan started, you swallow that. You will not eat further anything. Number 2. Number 3. Funny thing here is that this masjid adhan is at 5:15. That masjid adhan is 5:16. The other masjid adhan is 5:17. So you will be waiting for the adhan of that masjid, third adhan, which will be 2 minutes later. And you keep still eating until that adhan starts. Allowed or not? Not allowed. Then why do you do that? Will you stop while eating food? Will you wait for the adhan of the late masjid? You will be starting to wait, this masjid will be starting, and that's where you start having iftar, isn't it? Here, what you do is the moment you hear adhan from any masjid, any masjid, first adhan, that's when you stop having any kind of food. If you continue having it, it breaks the fast. People think that until the adhan finishes, that person can have food. This is haram. It breaks the fasting, and upon him is qada. Upon him is qada. Ta'ajilu fitri, and that is to iftar has to be made a little earlier. From the acts of Jews and Christians, what they used to do is they used to delay breaking the fast. The Shia also delay the breaking the fast. The Shia, they will be waiting about 15 minutes, 20 minutes later they break the fast. And Yahud, they used to break the fast, they used to delay. But what Rasulullah told, Ajjilu bi iftar wa ta'akharu bil suhur kama qala alayhi salatu wasalam. Delay the suhur and Ajjilu means what? Hasten with breaking the fast. This is some mustahabbat acts. Okay. Now sometimes what happens, you are traveling and you are in the bus or a car, you do not have anything to eat or drink. You do not have anything to eat or drink. And it's time for iftar. Okay. What will you do? What will you do? Is it a condition that you have to only eat and break the fast? No. The moment time starts, you are out of state of siyam. Out of the state of siyam. Is it clear now? Ala rutbin fa'in udima fatamrun fa'in udima fama'un. How do you break the fast? With what do you break the fast? What is recommended by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is you break the fast with dates. If you do not find the dates, then break your fast with water. Okay? And if you do not find even the water, with whatever it's possible. If you come to Bangalore, our people break the fast with samosas. I don't know in Bangalore what do you break the fast with. Is there any special food while breaking the fast? Yeah, samosa itself. If you go to Tamil Nadu, ganji. So they say that if you don't break the fast with samosa, you haven't really fasted. If you do not break the fast with ganji you know, right? You say kanji here, kanji is different. Ganji is different. That ganji with masala and all this, small pieces of. I think you're hungry now. If you break with that, you haven't really fasted. If you don't break with that, you haven't really fasted. But however, whatever, anything that you break with anything that is halal, alhamdulillah, it is absolutely allowed, inshallah ta'ala. But the sunnah is you have dates. Sunnah is you have water. If you do not have anything else, you can do with anything, inshallah ta'ala. And here, one more thing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if you feed a fasting person with a date, you will get the same reward of his fasting. So you are fasting, your friend is there, okay, and you take some dates, you give him, take my dates and break the fast, okay, then he breaks the fast, you will get the same reward of his fasting as well. This is one of the greatest rewards, subhanAllah. Here, if you go to Makkah, every day, in certain places you will find they spread the mat, the plastic mat, and they give free dates and free food, free leaven, a lot of things. The leaven, the curd. Every day you will find. It is not only in Ramadan, even other than Ramadan. Every time you will find. Alhamdulillah, there are people who are Ahlul Khair. They take care of the Sa'imin who are not who are fasting. In that, sometimes we never used to fast. We used to go and join. We'll feel hungry, so go and sit there. You get bun, you get some chocolate, you'll spend dates, this thing, and we eat and come back. So when I went to Makkah initially, it was very difficult because we never used to get mukafa. Mukafa is stipend, and you have whatever money is limited money. And I used to feel hungry. Subhanallah, where I used to stay very close to Haran, and the Haram is my classes. When I used to feel hungry, I used to go run towards the masjid. And you can't spend money. You have to use that money for other reasons. Go find people where they're giving free dates. Eat dates, fill your stomach with Zamzam water, come back and sleep. Subhanallah. This is what it is. I was there in Makkah for 7 years. Alhamdulillah, for 7 years, I only drank Zamzam water. Cooking in Zamzam. drinking Zamzam, not washing, and it's not allowed, it's makruh. Zamzam is al-ma'u zamzam lima shuriba la. The shifa is in drinking, not in applying. Shifa is in drinking. And when you drink Zamzam water, with you, if you make niyyah of any disease or anything, disease or anything, any blessings, if you make proper niyyah and if you drink the water, you will get it. Imam al-Dhahabi, Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, rahimahullah, he used to drink Zamzam water saying that, Ya Allah, give me the memory of Imam al-Dhahabi. And Allah granted him the memory like Imam al-Dhahabi. Imam al-Dhahabi is full of memory, a lot of memory he has got. So my friends, some of my friends I remember still in Masjid al-Haram, we used to, after the holidays, we used to have halaqatul Quran in the evening. And sometimes we have a crash course of Quran, crash course of memorizing the Quran. What is a crash course? It's 45 days to 60 days or 1 month. So there are guys who comes and memorize Quran in 1 month. 1 month they memorize Quran. And next 15 days Muraja. And I see my friends, some of them, they get up, they go take Zamzam water and they make dua, they drink, they come back, they memorize one juice. They make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah increase the memory and Allah increases memory. So this is one benefit that when you are there in Makkah, that Zamzam water. However, it's out of the topic. If you have Zamzam water, you have dates, break the fast with the dates, inshallah ta'ala. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ قَضَاءُ مُتَتَابِعًا وَيُسْتَحَبُّ قَضَاءُ مُتَتَابِعًا. What does it mean? For those people who have some of the fastings which has to be compensated, it is always recommended that person to immediately compensate those fasting. So there is one issue here. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Man sama Ramadan wa atba'a sittata min Shawwal, and who follows with the 6 fasting Shawwal, kana lahu siyam al-dahr, for will be the ajr of siyam of one entire year. Some of the ulama, because of the thumma word here in this hadith, they say that those who have some of the fasting which are obligatory, let them finish those fasting first, then let them finish the Shawwal. One of the opinions. Some of the ulama, they say that it is not necessary. It is not necessary as long if he has got many fastings. Some women, normally what happens, they fall into menstruation. Menstruation goes up to 6 to 7 days. Sometimes in one month twice it comes, or beginning. So it's about 10 days. So if they concentrate on 10 days, then Shawwal, it is going to become difficult upon them. So what is allowed is you can later compensate with the obligatory fasting, but for Shawwal alone, you can fast the Shawwal in the month itself without compensating the obligatory ones. But here the other mas'ala comes. What is the mas'ala? You have many obligatory fasting from the previous Ramadan, okay? But you are fasting not Shawwal once, but you are fasting Mondays and Thursdays and day on day off with the niyyah of nawafil. It is not allowed. What is mustahab is you finish your obligatory acts first, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes the obligatory things first. Then you concentrate on sunnah and nawafil. Is it clear now? Masala. Now people have a misunderstanding that if somebody is having some fastings which are left out from the previous Ramadan, and they think that it has to be finished by the next Ramadan. It has to be finished by the next Ramadan because of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But this hadith which talks about this particular issue, it's da'if, it's completely weak. But what is the ruling is that even if you do not conclude your fasting for next Ramadan, yet you have to fast later after that Ramadan. And some of the ulama, they say that you have some fasting from the previous Ramadan and next Ramadan came, okay, since you did not compensate those fastings, you have to give fidyah along with qada. One opinion. Some of the ulama, they say no, you don't have to give fidyah. Just qada is enough. To be in a safer side, giving fidyah doesn't matter at all, inshallah. Masala is clear. This masala is confusing. Do you want me to repeat again? If you do not understand, ask me. Don't just sit like understanding everything. Okay, do not. Yeah.
They want
This masala they're asking. Okay. This masala here, for example, you have some of the fastings from the previous Ramadan to be compensated. And when are you supposed to compensate these fastings? Before the next Ramadan. That is what people say. By next Ramadan you have to finish it. If you do not finish it, then you can give fidyah or you don't have fasting upon you. No. There is no condition. You have to finish it any time. Before next Ramadan or after that Ramadan. One thing. Number two, this mas'ala is divided into two categories. A person who did not compensate his previous fasting by next Ramadan, some of the ulama they say that after the next Ramadan they have to give fidyah as well as they have to compensate the fasting. Some of the ulama they say just compensation is enough, you don't have to give fidyah. There's two opinions. So you can select one of the two opinions and follow inshallah ta'ala. Now when it comes to obligatory fasting, you leave the obligatory fasting and you're concentrating on those fastings which are not obligatory. This is which is disliked, because what Allah likes is the obligatory fasting. So you finish your obligatory fasting, then you can fast on Mondays and Thursdays and day on and day off. Is it clear? Hope it's clear from the ladies' side, sister side. Now, there's no mic for them, Aqil. There is a mic provided. You can take the mic, inshallah ta'ala. And whatever doubts you have, we will have the last session. We will have the question and answers. Probably you can ask me in that, inshallah ta'ala. If you're not able to understand really, then on spot you can ask me. You can use the mic. Mic is being provided, right? You can use the mic, inshallah. ولا يجوز إلى رمضان آخر من غير عذر. This madhab, it says that without any valid reason, it is not allowed for you to just delay your fasting till the next Ramadan. فإن فعل فعليه مع القضاء طعام مسكين لكل يوم. So here, if he does it with any reason, compensating without any reason, then he has to give fidyah. That we just discussed now, isn't it? This is the madhab says, but Jumhur what they say? Not necessary to give any compensation. Now we are going to discuss an important thing. وَإِن مَاتَ عَلَيْهِ صَوْمٌ أَوْ حَجٌّ أَوْ اعْتِكَافٌ أَوْ صَلَاةُ نَذْرٍ اسْتُحِبَّ لِوَلِيِّهِ قَضَاؤُهُ. Now this matter is very important. Listen to me carefully. A person became sick in the month of Ramadan. A person became sick in the month of Ramadan, and because of that sickness he passed away. Because of that sickness he passed away. Is there qada upon that person? Is there qada? Is there compensation? Yes. And who will compensate? The close relative has to compensate. You understand? It's close relative, you have to compensate. This is for that person who has temporary sickness, and because of the temporary sickness he passed away. What about a person who is permanently sick? Permanently sick. Will there be qada upon that person? There is no qada, but there is kafara. What is kafara? Fidyatu ta'am miskin. That is to feed the miskin. That who will take care of this responsibility? The close relative, son or a father or anyone has to take care of this responsibility. Is it clear between both the things? Now, here it is mentioned sawmun. Sawmun. When it comes to sawm, whether it is sawm of that is sawm we'll discuss in the voluntary things. Compensation. Oh no, here is qada. For example, a person made sawm, made another. What is another? Oath that he will fast 3 days. He will fast for 3 days, and he died. He did not fast. So who will fast on behalf of that person? Close relative has to fast, because this is a responsibility and this is something which is obligatory upon that person. They have to finish that. Is it clear? Similar thing for Hajj. If a person want to perform Hajj, he made another for Hajj, he couldn't perform the Hajj, he passed away. Who will perform Hajj for that person? His son. Is it clear? I'tikaf, same thing. Somebody makes intention of itikaf, another for itikaf. He could not do it and he passed away. Who will sit itikaf for that person? His close relative. This is nothing to do with fasting, but I am telling you an example. It is also mentioned here just to elaborate the particular masail. So somebody makes another of fasting if he does not fulfill the fasting, and nobody makes another of Ramadan fasting, right? I am making another that I will fast Ramadan. You make another, you don't make another, you have to fast, man. There is no other option for you. Another is for those fasting which are not obligatory fasting. If somebody comes and says, I will make another on fasting, there is another here. You have to fast. Another is for those fasting which are not obligatory. Now, masala clear now? We'll go to the next chapter. And we have about 2 chapters left, inshallah. Swiftly we'll finish it and we will take the questions. What is the time now, Uncle? I will finish. We started late and I think it will take another 20 minutes to conclude these chapters, and we will take for half an hour questions. By 1, most probably, inshallah, we will conclude the class. Sawmu tatawwu yusannu siyamu ayyamul bid. Now we are going to discuss about the voluntary fastings. What are the voluntary fastings? Ayyamul bid. Ayyamul bid is a rule. Ayyamul bid are the white days where you will fast on 13th, 14th and 15th days of every month of lunar calendar, not solar calendar. Wal ithnain wal khamis, Mondays and Thursdays. Was min Shawwal, 6 days of Shawwal. When we say Shawwal, 6 days of Shawwal, it is not necessary that you have to fast consecutively. You can fast in that month any of the day before the month finishes. وشهر المحرم وآكده العاشر ثم تاسع. شهر المحرم, the 9th day and 9th and 10th of Muharram. This is Dhul Hijjah. Muharram, how many fastings we have in the month of Muharram? 1 or 2? 1. 10th of Muharram, that's it. But Rasulullah, he said, for the next year if I have to fast, I'll make it 9th. To make it much better, Ibn Taymiyyah, he says that 9th, 10th and 11th, much more better. But what is enough, ikfi, is 1 day of Muharram is enough. Is it clear? Now, وَتِسْعُ مِنْ ذِي الْحِجَّةِ وَتِسْعُ ذِي الْحِجَّةِ, the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. What is that? Yawmi Arafah. It is mustahab. If somebody is not fasting, no problem. He will not be held responsible for it. But if somebody is fasting, it's absolutely fine. But this fasting is makruh upon the Hujjaj. It is makruh upon the Hujjaj. Hujjaj, it is not haram upon them. It is makruh upon them. Ghaira Hujjaj, those who are not performing Hajj, it is highly recommended upon them. وَيَوْمُ عَرَفَةِ لِغَيْرِ, that's what this is, يوم عرفة. وفضل وأفضله يوم صوم يوم وفطر يوم. One of the best fasting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes is that fasting day on and day off, alternative days. Fasting today, fasting, not fasting next day, and fasting the day. This is the siyam of Dawood alayhi salam. ويكره, what is disliked? إفراد رجب. Ifradu Rajabin, fasting only in the month of Rajab. It is something which is disliked. Wal Jum'ah, fasting only on the day of Jum'ah. On the day of Jum'ah. Is it clear? It is something which is disliked. And now, there is a 2 explanation on this matter. A person wanted to qasidan fi yawm al-Jum'ah, a person who fasts on the day of Jum'ah only because of the fadl of Jum'ah, this becomes impermissible. But there is another person, because of waqtul farag, he found this particular day he found this day, he is free that particular day, and that day is what? Jum'ah. So he compensate any of the fasting in the Jum'ah or nawafil in that Jum'ah. He will not, that is not makruh. It is acceptable. You understand? 2 different things. You understand 2 different things. Now, was-sabt, yawm as-sabt, it is makruh to fast only on the Saturdays. Shakki is the 38th day of Shaban. 30th day of Shaban. Now tomorrow Ramadan starts. Today is fasting. It is disliked. In fact, after 15th of Shaban, it is disliked that you fast till the Ramadan. except for that person who regularly fasts. You have to keep one thing in the mind. What is that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regularly used to fast in the month of Shaban. Okay, so it is allowed for him to fast until the Ramadan starts. It is not for that person who does not fast and you only fast in the month of Shaban. So the one who is fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, day on day off, he can fast in the month of Shaban. Even after the 15th of Shaban till the Ramadan starts, it is allowed to fast inshallah ta'ala for that person. For others, it is not allowed. وَعِيدِ الْكَفَّارِ بِسَوْمٍ. Fasting on the day of Eid, is it allowed? It's not allowed. Fasting on the day of Eid is not allowed. It is haram to fast on the day of Eid. That is the day where you eat and drink, enjoy, celebrate, worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is mentioned to an extent that if a person dies on the day of Eid, any of your relative dies on the day of Eid, what do? We don't perform Eid, right? This is against the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, you have to celebrate the Eid. You have to eat and drink on that Eid. Death is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Eid is your ta'zeem. This is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you should not take away the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here. To that extent. So if you fast and drink, if you fast on the Eid day, it is haram. And not only haram, haram means Allah is going to punish you for that. And there's another fasting. For example, yuhramu sawm ayyamu tashriq. It is not allowed for you to fast on the day of tashriq. What is the day of tashriq? After the Yawm al-Eid, the 3 days of Yawm al-Eid, it is not allowed to fast those 3 days because هذه الأيام الطعام والشراب. أليس كذلك يا Abu Bakr? These are the days of eating and drinking. Javed? Abu Bakr, keep drinking, huh? Now, صوم العيدين وأيام التشريق ولو في فرض. So even if you have to compensate your fasting on the days of Ayyam al-Tashriq, on the Eid day, you're not supposed to fast on that days. It is haram to do it. إلا عن دم متعة أو كران. That is يعني ثلاثة أيام وسبعة إذا رجعتم. Except for 3 days and 7 days once you go back. That is nothing to do with here. Actually, we are discussing about the matter where there are people who does mutamatya and qiran. They have to, if they miss something, they have to fast for 3 days and 7 days. Okay, that one in the Hajj. We will not discuss that matter here, inshallah. Man dakhala طيب ولا يلزم بنفل. There is no compensation for nafil fasting. For example, you're fasting on Fridays, you're fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, you're fasting on Ashura, and you broke the fast. Do you have to compensate that fasting or not? You don't have to compensate that fasting. But when you break the fasting, which is obligatory. Now, what is masjid? Is the question here. How many of you know what is masjid? Masjid is where there is a land which is donated for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or a building donated for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what we call as endowment, waqf, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this particular land is given waqf for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how do we know whether this building or this place is given for waqf? There are two ways, either by documents. And second thing is min mafhumin nas, which is understood by the people. Is it clear? Are you understanding? Understood. Nowadays, last night I was telling this point to brothers. When you have a masjid, try to get the documents. Tomorrow nobody will come and say that there is under that masjid there is something. What is it? Understand by yourself. Nobody will claim that this is somebody else. This is ours. 300 years before, 400 years before. So we don't want to fight. Alhamdulillah, make the documents legally so that nobody will come and fight for that, and nobody will say there is something under the masjid. Okay? Masjid is a masjid where there is no grave. Masjid cannot be built on the graves. If there are graves in the masjid, that is not a masjid. You can't pray there. You can't sit for itikaf. Is it clear? Masjid is technically a masjid. Now for example, if you, in companies there are some masajids, right? You go to company, there are some masajids where there is a prayer hall. Is that considered as masjid? No. Can you sit for itikaf there? No. Technically you can't sit any musalla, any prayer room. You can't make that place as a masjid, and you can't sit for itikaf. Itikaf is only in the masjid technically. Now it's clear what is masjid, what is not masjid. طيب. إلا المرأة ففي كل مسجد سوى مسجد بيتها. She has to sit in the masjid, not in the masjid. That masjid baytiha means the musalla of her in the house. The salah for the woman is obligatory in jama'ah or not? For the woman, is it obligatory to pray in jama'ah? It is not obligatory. Rasulullah told, the afdalu salatiha fi baytiha. The best of the prayers for her is in her own house. So wherever she is praying in their house and she sits for itikaf there, it is not allowed. Rather, she has to be in the masjid. وَمَنْ نَظَرَ أَوْ صَلَاةَ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ غَيْرَ ثَلَاثَةٍ أَوْ أَفْضَلٍ. There is an issue here. Some of this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of the ulama, they say this hadith da'if, they say that there is no itikaf except in 3 masajids. Masjid al-Haram al-Makki, Masjid al-Haram al-Nabawi, Masjid al-Haram al-Aqsa. Except for these 3 masajids, there is no itikaf. But this hadith is da'if actually. What is sahih is that we can sit for itikaf in anywhere, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَالْعَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. Rasulullah, Allah subhanahu did not mention about only these masajids. We can sit in itikaf in any of the masjid. It's absolutely allowed, inshallah ta'ala. When we say itikaf, is it necessary that you have to sit for 10 days? Is it necessary? Itikaf is even between Asr and Maghrib. You make an intention to go to the masjid and sit. I'm making itikaf with an intention. Between Asr and Maghrib, that is also itikaf. But here we're discussing about itikaf in Ramadan. Somebody made intention of sitting in the month of Ramadan last 10 days. Now, when does he go to the masjid? Everybody knows. Before the 21st night, before the evening, he has to be there in the masjid. Before 21st night starts. Until the moon is being sighted. Once the moon is sighted, he can leave the masjid. If somebody has made intention of itikaf for 2 days or 1 day, it's absolutely allowed, inshallah. Do the maximum whatever it's possible. Now we are going to discuss what are the actions that is allowed while doing itikaf. What are the things that you're not allowed to do itikaf? Or while doing itikaf, can you go out or not? These things that we discuss now, inshallah. وَلَا يَخْرُجُ الْمُعْتَكِفِ. Mu'takif is a person who does itikaf. Okay? إِلَّا لِمَا لَا بُدَّ مِنْهُ إِلَّا بِالضَّرُورَةِ وَلَا يَعُودُ مَرِيضًا وَلَا يُشْهَدُ جَنَازَةً إِلَّا أَنْ يَشْتَرَطَ وَإِنْ وَطِئَ فِي فَرْجٍ فَسَدَ itikafhu. Now a person who is sitting in itikaf, can he go out or not? He can go out. For what? If he wants to take ghusl from the janaba, he can go out to his house, he can come back. Okay, he can come back to masjid. But alhamdulillah, nowadays masajids, we have washrooms, we have toilets, you can take bath there. When you go to Masjid al-Haram, Makkah or Medina, many of them are planning to go to Makkah for we have inshallah ta'ala here many people who wants to go, they want to sit for itikaf. Okay, in that case what they have to do? If they want to take bath, they can't go to the hotel. They can't. It's not allowed in the masjid washroom to wash yourself. But yet people go there and take the pipe and they'll be washing themselves in the Masjid Haram. They do it, but it's not allowed. If you can do it, do it. But otherwise, you can go to the hotel, you can take ghusl and come back. Number 1. Number 2. What about food? What about food? You can go out, eat and come back. But most of the time, what happens? Somebody will bring food, and the month of Ramadan is Ramadan Mubarak. Mubarak means you will find different varieties of food, coming and being right in front of you. You keep eating and eating and eating until the Fajr. Absolute no problem. But if you do not find any food, then you go out, have food and come back. This is allowed. Another issue here. Can you go out to visit a marid, to visit a sick person? One of your relatives became sick and you are in itikaf. Okay? Can you go or not? it is allowed, inshallah. But you make an intention before sitting in itikaf, Ya Allah, if somebody becomes marid or if somebody dies in my family or anyone, I will be exiting and I'll come back and sit in the itikaf. This is allowed with the condition. But even otherwise, if you come to know that somebody died, you have to go for the janazah. You can go visit and come back and to the janazah, inshallah ta'ala, absolutely allowed. Last few lines, after that inshallah ta'ala we'll take the questions. With this we are going to finish the fiqh of the fasting. So far we only thought fasting means suhoor, fasting means iftar, finished, isn't it? So many masail we discussed, and there are many masail I haven't discussed, that which is not necessary for the common man. I just left few ibara in this matter. وَإِن وَطِيَعَ فِي فَرْجٍ فَسَدَ اِعْتِكَافُ. If a person does intercourse with his wife while in itikaf, the itikaf is broken. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ. What is highly recommended? اشْتِغَالُهُ بِالْقُرَبِ. اشْتِغَالُهُ بِالْقُرَبِ means keeping yourself busy in worship that takes close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dhikr, adhkar, Quran recitation, secluding yourself with the worship, nawafil and sunnah, and وَإِجْتِنَابُ مَا لَا يَعْنِيهِ, and staying away from those things which does not concern you. That's what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in one of the hadith. Min husn al-Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la yanihi. From the most perfection act of a Muslim is that he leaves those things does not concern him. So you go to itikaf and you're going and making business calls. You're busy with your friends. You're talking this and that. What is the point of itikaf here? Itikaf is secluding yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not do it, then what is the point? Ajr will be reduced. With this we finished the fiqh of the fasting. Walillah alhamd. Now we will take the questions inshallah ta'ala. We'll take one question from the male side, another question from the female side. I think Akil has sent me some questions here. I'll read out some of the questions and they can ask directly also. However, or write, if you're not comfortable we can write down. But one thing I'll tell you, whatever the question is, do not feel shy to ask. That question might be insignificant for you, for others, but do not stop asking from those questions. Okay? There is no haya here. There is no haya. This haya is mahmood, praiseworthy haya. Okay? Will it not stop you from asking this question? Somebody will come and ask you, Shaykh, some question. Your friend is like, hey, you don't know that man. Don't feel shy. You ask, clarify. Islam does not stop you from clarification. Same thing applies even for the woman. Do not stop your shyness from asking the questions about the religion of Islam. Okay? This is from haya al-mahmood, which is a praiseworthy haya, inshallah ta'ala. We'll go to the questions. If any questions here, we'll take the questions.
We'll start with the brothers side itself. So, as the brothers question is asked, then we go to the sisters.
Yeah.
It is my preference to ask Shaykh, but if the sisters are uncomfortable, they can also send it to the sisters. Start with that. So, if brothers have questions, can I do?
You should have questions, by the way, not doubts. No? You should have what? Questions. You should not have doubts. Doubting. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. We don't have right doubts about the religion of Islam. So don't ask me doubts. Ask me questions. No. Walaikum salam.
There is this famous thing in my hometown.
Yeah.
Putting earbuds in the ears break the fast.
That's what we explained in one of the chapters here. Inserting anything into the mouth or ears or any part of the body does not break the fasting. So people, they say doing that. Some of them they say that taking bath and they clean. That's when you clean ears. It breaks the fasting. No, it does not break the fast. Can
integrate voluntary fasting and water fasting?
Oh, that's a very good question. The question here is that can we niyatul mustarika fi sawm, that is to have one niyyah one niyyah with many fastings. Niyat mustaqa, yani many niyyah with one fasting. For example, compensating the obligatory fasting on the Mondays and Thursdays for ayyam will be not allowed. Niyyah is different. Niyyah is different. That is different and this is different. You can't mix together. Inshallah. We'll take a question here. There are some questions which are being sent from the sister side. Okay. Can a woman fast the 6 days of Shawwal after Ramadan, seeking reward, without having made up for a missed fast of Ramadan? Yes, I discussed this matter. You can fast the Shawwal. Then, if you want to compensate the fasting of Ramadan, you can do it. Inshallah, absolutely no problem. We will take another question. Can a woman fast in the days of Dhul Hijjah, intending to seek its virtue and also make up for her missed fasts? No. No. That is different, this is different. You're not supposed to fast like that, inshallah. Can you mention the rulings of i'tikaf? I think i'tikaf rulings are very clear now. So that is being answered. We'll take question from here now.
Can you please explain the difference between one sa and wudu?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. We have this brother here. Can I have the mud? Mud. What is mud? What is sa'a? Mud is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make wudu from this mud. Can you see? This is mud. This mud, the volume of this mud is around 650 to between 600 and 700 ml of water. Okay. With this water Rasulullah used to make wudu. With how many liters we make wudu? How many liters? 10 liters minimum. Ghusl, forget it, tank. Use the tank completely, isn't it? So this is one mud. One sa'a makes 4 mud. 1, 2, 3, 4 makes 1 sa'a. Inshallah ta'ala, this brother here, he made a niyyah barakallahu fiqh that he want to distribute the mud and he want to educate the people. This is from the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want to make mud from this water, wudu from this, inshallah ta'ala, and you're practicing sunnah. And one of the ways of making wudu is you use a less water. The ulama, they say that if you want to see the fiqh of a person, if you want to see the fiqh, what do you mean by fiqh? If you want to see the understanding of the religion of a person, you see him how he makes the wudu. If he is using less water, then he has understood the fiqh. So this is one mud. 4 muds will make it 1 sa'a. 1 sa'a. It's clear, inshallah. So 1 sa'a, it's around 2.5 to 2.8 liters of water. Around 2.5 to 2.8 liters of water. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is mentioned in the hadith that he used to take ghusl from 1 sa'a of water. To take ghusl from 1 sa'a of water. That is like about 2.5 to 2.7 liters of water. Our bucket, what we have in the washroom, how many liters is it? 20 liters, 25 liters. You use 2-3 buckets. Rasulullah says, if you want to make wudu and you have a house and you have a river behind your house, besides your house, there also you can't be using israf. Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah does not like the one who is extravagant. We'll take one question here, inshallah. Any question online? There will be questions online as well. Online there will be questions. The women who can't fast in Ramadan, what are they supposed to do in Ramadan? Do we get the rewards as like fasting person? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful upon us. Example, there is a woman who used to fast in the month of Ramadan from her childhood. When she reached the age, she's not able to fast. She became sick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward her double of Ramadan. Each amal double. You understand? For example, you are sick, you are habitually performing Salatul Tahajjud. You became sick, you got fever or something. Now you can't perform Tahajjud. Allah is going to give a double reward because of that. So in the month of Ramadan, if that woman is among those who used to regularly fast in the month of Ramadan and she could not fast, Allah is going to give her 2 rewards. 2 Ramadan rewards. Alhamdulillah. So what does it teach us? When you are in youth, worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are in old, even if you can't worship Allah, Allah will reward you double of what you used to worship. And if they're not women who can't fast Ramadan, what are they supposed to do? If you can't fast in the month of Ramadan, then recite Quran, adhkar, do charity, or feed the people who are fasting. And you have, of course, fidya. Of course, fidya upon you, miskin, for the people who, fidya to give it to the fuqara and masakin. Now, we'll take question here. Tell me, Kev. Take mic so that everybody will hear, inshallah.
If we sniff something like
Yeah.
without the substance going inside, but we get that stimulus like caffeine and
Yeah.
it gives us energy. Can we do that?
Caffeine
It
gives
does not
energy.
go inside, but for the brain it gets nourishment, stimulation because of the essence of that smell.
Oh, okay. No, it does not break the fast. Somebody likes petrol to smell. Some people like to smell petrol. Some people like to smell perfumes. Some people like to smell that, what do you say? The nail polish, that thing, what is it? What is it? Removal, something, what is it? That smell. That's what Ray talking about. Yeah? The smell goes and makes that, what do you say? Refreshes. No, it does not break the fast. When I was child, okay, when in the school time, my friends, they'll be like intoxicated, like they're doing this. What happened, man? What happened to you? They're like, they used to bring this whitener, not whitener. It's something, whitener, right? They used to bring and they used to keep smelling and they used to feel that intoxication. And the many students were caught and they were punished because of that. So doing that does not break the fast. And why do you want to do that? There's a question here. Why do you want to do this question? Nobody wants to smell, right? Purposefully. Makruha. For others, community. Yeah. Walaikum salam. I can't see who. Yeah. No. Tell me. People of Bid'ah. This question, inshallah, we'll take last. We'll take the question which is on topic, inshallah. Sitting with the people of Bid'ah, taking good and leaving what is bad. We'll discuss about this. Remind me, last. We'll take some questions which is on the topic. First we'll finish the obligated, then we'll come to Nawafil and Sunnah. Ruling on wearing dad's or brother's clothes, a very good question. This question is from the sister's side, that is, can we wear clothes of dads or brothers? This question many people ask me. Of course you can use it, no problem at all. Wearing t-shirts, you can wear it at home. You can wear their pants, no problem, absolutely fine. Okay, what is not allowed in the religion of Islam is that man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum, and also tashbih bil rijal, rijal tashbih bil nisa, that is imitating women, imitating men, men imitating the woman. In what? I come with wearing sari, not allowed. I come with earrings, not allowed. I come with nose ring, not allowed. Okay. And when you say about some of the t-shirts, and some people they say that women are not allowed to wear jeans and t-shirts. Who said? Who said it's not allowed? Absolutely allowed. The jeans of the woman is different from the jeans of the man. They have a different structure of cutting and everything. If you wear that, you look funny. That's tashbih. Okay. A woman have haircut like a boy, that is not allowed. A man having a hair like a woman, not allowed. I've seen this nowadays more. Those feminists who say that we are equal, they want to equal in appearance as well. How they cut like the boy cut. I was once sitting with my friends and there was this girl, somebody's coming, and I was looking. I was confused, what's the male or a female? She came close. Okay. Then I noticed female, but she had boy cut. Don't ask me why you're looking shape. Okay. There are some. I was riding a bike. One guy just passed in front of me with long hair, and the way hair is, flying in the air. Beautiful hair. And men. The moment he sees any hair or something, or any voice of the woman or something, we will become ice cream. Melt ourselves, isn't it? Thinking that, there's a woman, good hair. I was riding the bike, I went and saw this beard. A'udhu billahi min shaitan. Like deception, this is not allowed. This is not allowed. This is tashbih. This is tashbih of woman like a man like a woman. Is it clear? But wearing the brothers or father's t-shirts, absolutely allowed. Your father, of course, will allow. Your brother will probably fight with you. Yeah. Any question here?
So are there different levels of fasting?
What do you mean by different levels of
Different levels of fasting. Okay type fasting or better fasting. Any levels of fasting?
We know that's obligatory fasting. We have sunnah fastings. We have nawafil fastings.
Not different types of fasting, different levels.
Allah, I don't really understand. Can you give an example?
I had come across one point which is like normal fasting, and there is one better one, and then elite of the elite fasting.
That may be with the reward, maybe. Like Sheikh Manna says, maybe there is a got a reward. But there is one fasting especially. This fasting which Rasulullah used to do. He used to fast for about 3 days continuously, 4 days continuously, 5 days continuously, without having anything in between. This is only khasatan in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is not allowed for any other people, except some of the Sahaba, they started doing, like Abdullah bin Zubair. Some of the other Sahaba, they fasted like this, like continuously. Abdullah bin Zubair fasted for 15 days. It's only allowed for only them, but not for a common man. This fasting is like you start fasting with suhoor, and you fast for continuously 3 days. That Rasulullah used to do that, and Sahaba, some of them, they used to do that. Rasulullah allowed for them, but otherwise it's not allowed for generally for the common people. But levels of fasting, like he said, yeah, it is something maybe a reward, but there is no levels. Yeah, obligatory one level. Sunnah nawafil, that is Ashura, Arafah, another level. Nawafil which does not have any sabab. Those are another level, inshallah. We'll take a question from here. Suppose we give fidya and still did not fast, should we give fidya again next month? Fidya is for those people who can't fast, number one. Fidya is for those people who can't fast. So obviously there is no fidya here. Again, you don't have to give fidya. It's clear now. This particular question is not very clear, Aqil. The one who asked this question, suppose we give fidya and still did not fast, should we give fidya again next month? Okay, if that is the case, like that is two aqwal, as I told you, fidya and did not fast. Okay. Oh, this question may be, there are some people who just give fidya, they won't fast. Okay. But here they have to compensate the fasting, but no fidya again. No fidya again. This is one way of understanding the question. Another way of understanding the question is that for next Ramadan they did not fast, they gave fidya. Okay. They did not fast. Do they have to give fidya again? No. But you have to fast that. Giving fidya once it is done, it's done, finished. But that is also an option. You can either give fidya or you have an option of not giving fidya. Two opinions according to the scholars. Any question here?
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
We just touched the borderline, so I just wanted to I can say it is a danger line. Like he said, like hearing the whitener and all. Because I'm involved in this drug abuse and all that. It's actually a part of drug abuse. And that is not leading to drug abuse, it's actually drug abuse.
Yes.
People who are, we have caught so many people, and we have been doing personally for these boys. They are probably drug they receive is inhaling this whitener and all. And now you said that it doesn't take a fast. But it's something more dangerous going on. So, how to go about it? then you can eat. It's like he's having a drug abuse and he's fasting.
See, it depends on what you take inside, right? For example, yes, people take drugs. They put the drugs on this one and they inhale that. It goes inside. It breaks the fast. There are some drugs which you only just inhale it. There's nothing going inside. The smell goes inside. That does not break the fast. They're two different things. But however, both the things are haram. Now we are talking about the validity and invalidity of the fasting. This is valid or invalid. That is the thing we are discussing here. That is the point here. The thing itself is haram. The thing itself is haram, but this breaks or not? No problem. Hope it's clear, inshallah.
One more thing. Now you said that fasting of Shawwal for women. Now they want to fast the Shawwal and then they get come for obligatory. But you had just mentioned earlier that first you should do your obligatory fasting.
One of the opinions. That is one of the opinions.
They did not follow that.
Not necessary because
Shawwal, every year at the end of Ramadhan and the Shawwal starts, this issue comes up.
Yeah.
And I went to a place,
Yeah.
always been witness to this is last 10 to 15 years. And always, every year, one way or the other, it comes out.
So here what happens is, if you have one or two fastings, you better finish those obligatory fasting, then you start Shawwal. If you have many fastings, in that case what you do? Finish Shawwal, because Shawwal is muqayyad. Muqayyad means restricted. Once the Shawwal month goes, you can't fast the Shawwal. You can't fast Shawwal month in Rajab, Shaban or any other months, Muharram, Safar, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, you can't fast. It is restricted to that fasting, muqayyad. Okay, so it is better to finish those muqayyad things in the muqayyad areas, inshallah ta'ala. So this takes precedence and is one of the opinions of the scholars. So absolutely fine. I'll take one question from here and I'll come back to you. Ustad mentioned that Shifa using Zamzam is only through drinking, so it is not permissible to apply Zamzam on my pimples for cure. So here the question here is that, applying the Zamzam water on the pimples, is there a cure? I have seen where people have applied some Zamzam water on that particular area or somewhere there is some injury or something, it has been cured. It has been cured. But the hadith of Rasulullah is much more clear that liman shuriba lah. What does it mean? The shifa is in what? In drinking. In drinking. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept it, but shifa is more in drinking, inshallah. There are many stories like some people had cancer, skin cancer, what they did, they drank Zamzam, they took bath with Zamzam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purified, not purified, new word in English, purified. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cured that person. I keep bringing new words in English, purified, there is no purified here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured that person. That means come like that. No. My students who are in ASPA, they'll be watching this and I'll be bringing such kind of words. They'll be laughing at me right now. Also, can you do wudu using Zamzam? Using one Zamzam water for wudu is makruh. It is disliked. Sometimes I used to do wudu in Zamzam. Wudu with Zamzam water. That is when, for example, when I was working in Haran, Masjid Haram, right? So especially sometimes Jum'ah on Hajj days and Ramadan days, it's very difficult for you to go out and make wudu and come back. And you are at work and there are many people who are come and ask questions, you have a lot of clarification you have to do. If you go and come back, it takes a lot of time. It takes 20 to half an hour. So your work time and people miss out on the benefits. So what we used to do is, the next section there is Zamzam taps. So I used to go there and make wudu there itself. So in exceptional cases it is allowed, but otherwise making just Zamzam water wudu that beautify your skin and all those things, it is makruh. It is makruh now. Raise the voice and is it the haqq of the kuffar? Hufad, yes. To lead the prayers in Taraweeh? Not necessary. But it is better. If the Hafid is reading the Taraweeh, it's better. But now, example is that there is a Hafid. There is another Hafid. There's a Hafid, there's an Alim. It's a Hafid and there's a scholar. Not every scholars are Hufad. So who will lead the prayers? Man yastahiqu ayyum an-nas? Alim. Not Hafid. Hafid only memorized Quran, but Alim knows the rules and regulations of Masail. So Alim precedes over the Hafid. That is much better. But especially in the month of Ramadan, since we have to finish the Quran and things like that, that is another thing. Finish the Quran. We have some boards coming up, inshallah, very soon, everywhere. 7 days Taraweeh, 3 days Taraweeh, 15 days Taraweeh, 8 days Taraweeh. Is it clear? All these things are not allowed. There is nothing like you have to finish the Quran in the month of Ramadan, especially while leading the prayers. So it is, yes, Hafid has more rights to over other people to lead the Jama'ah, inshallah. Ruling regarding recitation of Quran during menstruation out of memory without touching the Quran from applicable application of a mobile phone. Recitation of the Quran during the state in the state of menstruation is absolutely allowed, provided there is conditions. But if you read the Quran and Sunnah, there is no clear dalil which says that a woman in the state of menstruation is not allowed to read the Quran. But it is min bab al-ihtiyat. The ulama, they say that if a woman is reading the Quran from this is the opinion of Jumhur al-ulama, okay, they say that it is allowed for a woman to recite the Quran. If she is using mushaf, the Quran copy, then she has to use gloves and touch the mushaf. If she is reading from the laptop or a mobile phone, she don't have to be wearing any gloves. So a woman in the state of menstruation, Ibn Taymiyyah is of that opinion that she is allowed to memorize the Quran, seek shifa from the Quran, and also read the Quran. And in the month of Ramadan also you can use it, inshallah ta'ala. With these conditions, absolutely no problem at all whatsoever. We'll take one more question. I made an oath to fast tomorrow, but considering that it's makruh to fast the last 15 days of Sha'ban, should I fast post Ramadan, or am I supposed to fast tomorrow? You have to fast tomorrow. You have to fast tomorrow. Since you have taken the oath to fast tomorrow, you fulfill the fasting. Do not wait until the Ramadan finishes, because this is something which you have taken a responsibility towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So responsibility takes precedence over other acts. So fulfill your fasting, inshallah. Any question here?
Yeah, my brother just asked me a question. Fasting on the day of Arafah, now that it's in which I consider day of prayer, which day we have to consider?
He's asking fasting on the day of Arafah. Which day to fast? I would like to free myself from this answer. I don't want to answer this question. Don't come and ask me Saudi sighting, which sighting. Do whatever you feel right, inshallah. If I give an answer and if I am wrong and if you follow that, I'll be caught on the day of judgment. I am not a mujtahid mutlaq, I am not a mujtahid muqayyad. I am not a scholar in the first place to give a fatwa on this matter. Allahu a'lam. It is your personal thing. You do it, inshallah. Don't ask this question. You ask Mufti. We have Mufti here, Shaykh Tariq. You ask him, inshallah. Okay? Wadah, clear? Now, if the moon of the Eid, same question here. The question is, if the moon of the Eid has been sighted, but the Imam of Jama'ah of the area doesn't declare Eid, should we follow the Jama'ah and fast, or go against the go and celebrate the Eid, or not to fast and celebrate Eid along with the Jama'ah on the next day? Complicated. The ulama spoke about this matter. Those people where, for example, if the moon is being sighted anywhere in India and they want to fast, let them fast. Some of the ulama, they say this. And do not make fitna because of that. Those who does not want to fast, do not make fitna with those who are fasting. And when it comes to celebration, do not celebrate you separately, but celebrate collectively. It's clear now? So I leave this issue with you. Celebration should be collective, inshallah. Can menstruating women sit inside the masjid? No. A woman cannot sit inside the masjid. A menstruating woman cannot sit inside the masjid. But what is masjid? Now, for example, when you enter the masjid, there is staff room. Some massages has got rooms, which is not the place where you pray. Okay, you enter the masjid. In the veranda of the masjid, you can sit. In the the courtyard of the masjid, you can sit. But you can't sit at that place where the salah is being performed. In some of the massages, there are classrooms. Okay, there people does not worship. There you can go and sit, because that does not come under the masjid, even though that part is inside the masjid. Now you go to Masjid Haram. Masjid Haram, the boundary inside you can't go and sit, but outside in the sahan, sahatu, the sahan, you can sit there. But women can enter the masjid or not in the state of menstruation? Yes, of course. You can enter, you can walk, you can come back, but sitting it's not allowed. Attending Jum'ah is not allowed inside the masjid. Any question here? Abu Bakr.
What is the ruling of giving kafara? If it's for both of the husband and wife, one kafara or two kafara?
Two kafara, both. Both has to give kafara. Why musibah on husband? There is some musibah on wife also, right? So both has to follow it. Yeah. So any
When we recite the moon of Ramadan, can we greet, like saying Ramadan Mubarak, can we greet people? Or if someone greets us, what do you say?
there is no issues in greeting for Ramadan Mubarak. You're happy, you're actually happy with this for the Ramadan. Absolutely fine. No problem in greeting. Absolutely no problem in greeting, inshallah.
Or decorating homes,
There's no problem. Because we can't make anything haram until there is a dalil to make it haram. This is a qaida, al-fiqh, al-dawabit. You can't make something haram until there is a proof there is haram. So it's like decorating house, happiness, alhamdulillah, no problem. Yeah. When Ramadan comes, some people will take the shaitan away from there. What is it? TV. TV will be chained inside. Like how the shaitan, Allah will be chain the shaitan, you will chain the TV. And the moment the hilal is seen on this one, Salman Khan movie has been released. Shah Rukh Khan movie has been released. And our ahbab will be in the masjid, not in the masjid, in the theater. First day, first show. طيب. Questions are this way? They can send directly this one. Slips will be better. We'll take one question. If the kafara for husband and wife who had intercourse with each other in Ramadan daytime, mustaqillun baynahuma. So if there are feeding poor, should husband feed 60 years? This question was just answered. If a woman who has to fast continuously for 2 months as kafara, how can she do since she gets menstruation every month? That menstruation day she is exempted. She is exempted from those days, but once she is purified from the menstruation, she has to continue fasting, inshallah. Do ear drops break the fast? No. Ear drops does not break the fast. Does extracting blood from the blood test break fast? No. Extracting blood, giving blood, donating blood, hijama blood does not break the fast. Is it clear? Is etikaf for the kifaya? It's sunnah. There's nothing to do for the ayn, for the kifaya. It's sunnah, mustahab, that's it. What is for the kifaya, for the ayn? Let me explain to those people who doesn't know. For the ayn, what is for the ayn? Which is obligatory upon every single Muslim. Salah is obligatory upon every single Muslim. For the kifaya, salatul janaza is for the kifaya, not obligatory on every single Muslim. Giving bath for the dead body, is it for the kifaya or for the ayn? For the kifaya. One gives, it is for everyone. If it is for the ayn, every single person on the face of the earth has to come and give bath for the dead body. That's the difference. So here etikaf is nothing to do for the kifaya, nothing to do with for the ayn. It is just sunnah, as I told you in the lesson. It's just sunnah and mustahab. Right. Any question here?
Shaykh, is itikaf done outside Ramadan or only in Ramadan?
Itikaf, generally it is in the month of Ramadan, but if you have taken another that you want to do itikaf in the month of Ramadan, you do in the month of Ramadan. If you have made another outside the month of Ramadan, you can do it, no problem, inshallah ta'ala, generally. But even otherwise, you can do itikaf other than Ramadan, no problem.
Islam.
Walaikum salam.
How do we compensate for those Ramzan, like for those fasting which we missed, and like we don't know the exact number of fasting we missed?
Okay, the question here is that how do we compensate those fastings which you're not sure about how many days it is. Remember whatever it is. Fattakullaha mastata'tum. Fear Allah as much as possible and fast as much as possible, whatever you remember. Rest bil yaqeen. Yaqeen. There is a qaida al-fiqhiyya. What is the qaida, ya Abid? Al-yaqeenu la yazalu bil-shak. The shak will not remove the certainty. So if you are certain that this many days are there, for example, you have about 8 days of fasting. Now you are confused as to it is 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever it is. You make your yaqeen, okay, 7. So make 7. And whatever it is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you, inshallah wa ta'ala. This is the qaida that we use in this case. We have the person who had intercourse in the morning, will he be punishable if he has intercourse in the evening due to virtue which the month of Ramadan has? First of all, if you have intercourse in the month of Ramadan, upon that person is kafara, number one, and qada also. They have to compensate later. But if the same day if they want to have intercourse, there is no kafara again, and they will not be punishable, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Can you fast qaza fast in Shawwal? Yes, of course. Of course, you can fast. You can compensate your qaza fasting in the month of Shawwal. Absolutely no problem. There is no restriction at all. Okay, but do not miss the Shawwal fasting because you will be missing on the entire reward of the entire year. If you fear that you miss out on those Shawwal fasting, then you better fast later, no problem. Finish the Shawwal because Shawwal is restricted to the month of Shawwal. It's clear. Anything here? Any question here? Okay, we'll come back to you. Yeah. Can the person who makes nadar but dies before fulfilling, the close family relative has to make up? Can kafara be given? Making up is important. Kafara should not be given. Making up is important, inshallah. One of the Sahabiya, she went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking, Ya Rasulullah, my mother passed away and she left out some of the fastings. Al alayha kafara. What do I do? Can I fast for her? Rasulullah said that if you have some credit, what will you do? Will you give the credit back or will you not give the credit? Obviously, give the credit. So fulfill. You go and fulfill. So first thing is you fulfill that, inshallah. And who fulfills it? The close relative, children's, husband, wife, or parents or close relatives. They will fulfill, inshallah. Yeah.
Shaykh, praying Tarawih alone is better or Jamaat?
Very nice question.
And another part of the question is praying Tarawih immediately after Isha is better or in the last part?
See, first of all, we need to understand the meaning of Tarawih. The word Tarawih is not used by Allah Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is used by Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. Tarawih means where you take rest between the prayers. And there is a hadith of Aisha radiyallahu anha. She says that وَكَانَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ يُصَلِّي أَرْبَعًا وَلَا تَسْأَلُ عَنْ طُولِهِنَّ وَحُسْنِهِنَّ ثُمَّ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي أربعة ولا تسأل عن طولهن وحسنهن What is meaning? Rasulullah SAW used to sometimes perform 4 rakah in the beginning of the time, 4 rakah in the last part of the time. And between those, he used to give gap. This is what is known as tarawih. The actual tarawih is where you give gap between the 8 rakah, you give gap in between that. That is tarawih, where you take rest, raha, between 4 plus 4. Now, tarawih, another issue. Should it be 8 rakah? Should it be 20 rakah? Is an issue that we normally fight with each other. You pray 20, you pray 100, you pray 9, you pray 8, you pray 3, you pray 5, you pray 7. You don't pray. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And tarawih has got many names. Qiyamul Layl, Salatul Layl, Tahajjud. The difference between Qiyamul Layl, Tahajjud is that Salatul Layl is that Tahajjud is prayed at the third part of the night, which is after timings. And Mutahajjid, who's Mutahajjid? Mutahajjid is the person who sleeps in the first part of the night and he gets up in the last part of the night. He gets up in the last part of the night. He is known as Mutahajjid. That is third part of the night he performs. Is it clear? No, this is Afdal Waqt. So you can perform Tarawih at any time. Min ba'd al-isha, ila tulu'il fajr. Until the Fajr starts. Is it clear? Now, Qiyamul Layl. Does it mean only that you pray 2 rakah? Or don't pray? You get up, make dua, that is also Qiyam. You get up, read Quran, that is also Qiyam. You get up, do adhkar, that is also Qiyam. Is it clear? You get up and study the religious knowledge, that is also from Qiyam. You get up, watch YouTube, that is not from Qiyam. You get up, see WhatsApp, that is not from Qiyam. You see Facebook, that is not from Qiyam. Okay? Qiyam is where you engage yourself with worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be considered as the Qiyam. Is it clear? So it can be performed anytime. Okay, the second part of the question is it afdal to perform alone or in the jama'ah? You can perform in the jama'ah, you can perform alone. Even if you don't want to perform also, no problem at all whatsoever. But you perform where you feel tamareen, that is where you feel tranquility, khushu and khuzu. You go to the masjid and you pray, your mind is somewhere. That was the point. But you are praying at home alone, that is more benefiting you. Alone is better. Alone is better. If you ask me personally, I don't pray in the masajid most of the time. I pray alone. I recite my own Quran. I have my own long ruku and sujood, own timing, own set of timing. That gives more, what do you say, seclusion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you do what is better. Some people like in the jama'ah, they go for jama'ah. Some people don't like jama'ah, they don't like for jama'ah. Then somebody flexible. There is no absolutely issues at all whatsoever in this matter. Clear, inshallah. If a woman is not able to make up for her missed fasts, should she give fidya for those fasts? And after Ramadan, if she is supposed to make up for her previous year's fast plus her current year's fast, she has to make up fasting. There is no fidya for that for woman. She has to compensate the fasting. There is no fidya. Fidya is only for that person who cannot fast, permanently cannot fast, whether it's a male or a female. Hope it's clear. Can we eat in restaurant that has a bar outside the kitchen or in a separate section, but they claim to serve halal meat? The bar is separate. The bar is separate. Nothing to do with the restaurant. Outside, kitchen is separate. Yes, of course we can have it, no problem, inshallah. Yeah. It's inside. Why in Mangalore? I was yesterday. I was telling Sayyid and Javed. I was telling them, Mangalore full of restaurants. Why do you want to go only to that restaurant? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in one of the hadiths, "Inna al-halala bayyinun wa inna al-harama bayyinun wa baynahuma umurun mushtabihat la ya'lamuhunna kathirun min an-nas." فمن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام ومن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وإرضه كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. What is the hadith? Halal is clear, haram is clear. There are matters in between, it's unclear. It's an unclear matter. Why do you want to fall into unclear matters? If it is unclear and you do take that, you might fall into haram. So better not to go there, inshallah ta'ala, so that you can save your deen, you can save your honor. And if somebody finds a hijabi woman, a bearded man standing at the bar and looking at the bar, what message does it give? What message? You are inviting other people to assume things. وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. Right? You are making tajassus here. You are allowing a person to assuming things here. Right? So here, you can avoid these things, inshallah ta'ala. So it is better to avoid those restaurants. In case, now another issue. No restaurants in the city. There is the only restaurant. There is no other where you get food. No other place except that you have to go and have food. The fuqaha, they say, as long as it's separate and everything, you can go and have food there, inshallah ta'ala. Absolutely no issues. Clear? No. Any questions online? Okay, there is one here. Does using toothpaste or mouthwash nullify our fast? If yes, then please can you tell its substitute? Miswak. The siwak. Any siwak, the neem siwak, any siwak can be used according to Imam Ahmed. Making siwak, brushing, cleaning the mouth after zawal is makruh, according to Imam Ahmed. Jumhur al-ulama, they say, even before fasting you break the fasting. Even if you brush, use mouthwash or anything, does not break the fast, and it is allowed, absolutely allowed. And better substitute is that stick what you have, the miswak. Inshallah, absolutely. Now, Anas, right? Safwan.
Islam.
Salam.
My question is like, can we pray Qiyamul Layl after being Tarawih and Fajr?
Very nice question. That's a very nice question.
So usually what happens is,
Yeah.
in the last 10 days of Ramadan, here in Masjid, they arrange Qiyamul Layl in Jama. So,
Understood the question. Whether in the month of Ramadan or outside the Ramadan. Okay? Outside or inside, I'm telling you. Anywhere you want to play Qiyamul Layl after witr, allowed, absolutely allowed. Because somebody says witr is a condition for the end of the prayers, it is wrong. Witr is not the condition for the last prayer. For example, first we'll go to that Ramadan. You prayed in the month of Ramadan in one masjid, you prayed, and you didn't pray witr there, or you prayed witr there, and you got up in the last part of the night. Again, can you pray or not? Absolutely, you can pray. Now, after praying that, you will not pray witr. After praying, you will not pray witr again, because there is no two witr in the night. There is no two witr in the night. Now, second scenario, where you know that you are going to get up. So you didn't pray witr. So you know that you are going to get up and pray. In that case, you delay your witr until you pray all the other night prayers. Absolutely allowed. A person who slept, he has no intention of praying Salatul Tahajjud in the night, but he got up to pray the Tahajjud in the night, but he already prayed witr. He can pray Tahajjud and he will not pray witr again. Is it clear? Is it clear now? Masala clear? That's it, inshallah. No. Any questions otherwise?
Can restaurant owners run their restaurant leave?
Of course.
Because I've heard many people saying that you can't open a restaurant during the time of Ramadan.
Absolutely no problem. Yeah? You can run, absolutely no problem at all. You can run the restaurants. What is not allowed is eating and drinking. But otherwise, it's
There is asking serving lunch.
serving lunch for whom? Are you responsible for those people? There are, for example, think about myself. I go to a restaurant, Muslim restaurant. They're serving food. I'm with beard. I'm eating food. People think, how dare you eat food in the month of Ramadan? I'm sick, man. I'm sick. Don't judge. Don't just certificate to me. First understand the situation. Then if there are no restaurants, then where do I go and eat? There's nothing to do with all these kind of things. Absolutely allowed to do business. Absolutely do. Why a restaurant? Can you sell? You can't sell fruits and vegetables then? Don't sell. Fruit. If that is the case, why do you sell fruits? Don't sell. Why do you sell vegetables? Don't sell. Muslims will sit at home Ramadan comes, I'm not selling. Yeah, it's funny. Absolutely no problem. You can have business, you can have open the restaurants, you can sell. Absolutely no problem, inshallah. Yeah. Yeah.
Same, like, see, as an imam, same question which I asked earlier.
Yeah.
Regarding that, as an imam, if I have been given a responsibility to lead Tarawih, and over there I also have to lead Fitr. Okay, and I've also been called to pray Qiyamul Layl, lead Qiyamul Layl. So, that time what I do? I have to pay complete Fitr. And also Qiyamul Layl. Can I take
Do one thing.
responsibility
Do one
or-
thing. Do one thing. You lead the Tarawih 8 rakah. Okay? Witr is ask them somebody to lead the prayers. You go to the other masjid and you lead the prayers there. Better. How is it not possible? Can somebody force you? Yeah, you have to pray with it. Otherwise, they'll put machine gun on you. You have to pray with it.
So I have to
Thing
lead
like that.
with it.
You have to lead. You have to lead. If you have taken the responsibility of leading it, lead. Then if you want to perform later, perform. No problem, inshallah. It's not a condition in the first place. No problem. But if you have an option of giving the witr to somebody else to lead, that would be much better. Clear now, inshallah. Online any questions? No questions. I didn't get it. Okay. I answered this question. I answered. Yeah, it's answered. Taib, any other questions? Hope you have benefited from the session, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah give us the understanding of the religion. Oh yes, there is this question now. The question is, can you sit with the people of Bid'ah? And can you benefit from them? It's the question here. Who is the people of Bid'ah? Let me ask you. Who is the people of Bid'ah? That everybody knows. Who? What do you mean by sitting with them? Taking ilm. Take ilm from those scholars who are from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Do not take ilm from any person who is a muqtadi, who is an innovator. Do not take the ilm from them. This is the thing. As for sitting with them, what do you mean by sitting? Having food with them? Or what? What especially you are asking? For ta'aleem, no, not allowed. Not allowed. Lectures not allowed. They mix good with falsehood and you will not be able to understand. Being a layman, they are always have to stick on with the scholars who are authentic. As far as scholars are concerned, they know what exactly the person is speaking. The scholar is allowed to go and sit with them and asking them and you have debate with them, that's allowed. For a layman, it is not allowed for them to go and sit with the Ahlul Bidah. People of Bidah.
We can't take good from them.
You can take good from them, of course, even from the religion. Even if it's from the religion, you can take good from them. But if anything that is going against the Quran and Sunnah, you can't take from them. It's clear. No. Some people will say, you sat with Ahlul Bidah, you are a Muqtadi. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Now you gave me a certificate of being Muqtadi. Yeah? You got to be very careful about this. I have given in Nullifiers of Islam, the first session which I have taken is about calling a person kafir. It's there in my channel, you can probably see the first lesson. I've discussed in that whom to call muqtadi, whom not to call kafir and everything in detail I've discussed. That's very important introduction, inshallah. Try to watch this particular episode. It's there in my channel. You type my name, you will get the YouTube channel, inshallah. You will find in Nullifiers of Islam, first episode, you watch that. You will find all the answers, inshallah. So I will conclude here. May Allah make dua for our brothers and our brothers everywhere in the dunya. Okay. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit us from this Ramadan which is coming. Busy yourself in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not know how many Ramadan we are going to see. And engage yourself in gaining knowledge. And inshallah ta'ala we will have more of this kind of workshops in the future. and we benefit from each other. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.